All right, what's up, guys? It's Neutral Zone here, and today we are finishing our series of the Power Four conference rankings in college football. Obviously, we did the ACC, the Big 12, and the Big 10, and we have what is a big debate in college football between the best conference, but definitely one of the two best ones in the SEC.
100%.
We will be talking about every team in the SEC for you guys here today, notable players, their coaching staffs, quarterback room, and then breakout players, and then how we think they're going to fare going over or under their betting line. So how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. Had work today, but me and Alec left an hour early just so I could come back and get a little bit done for this and hit the gym still. So got done with that, but excited to talk about the SEC, man. Dude, I was a huge proponent of the Big Ten being the best conference in the country just because they have had the last three champions and they've looked very, very competitive. But dude, after watching the SEC, I don't know, man. There's a reason why the SEC is the known football power conference because they are. This is a very, very good conference. But yeah, go ahead.
What I'll say about the SEC, I think the top teams in the Big Ten are the best teams in the country right now.
Agreed.
I think that Oregon and Ohio State are the 1 and 2 teams, and they probably have been for a couple of years now. I think Georgia and Bama have been lacking. But what I will say is I think virtually every single team outside maybe 2 has a player that could be a first-round pick. I think the talent is just insane. Like
100%.
when we're talking about like Maryland or like Michigan State, I mean, there's sometimes not a good player on that team at all. But virtually every single one of these teams has a top 100 player recruit very recently or a potential first round guy. And I think the talent is just so spread out. It feels like there's a superstar on literally every team.
Yeah.
So that's what I think the difference is for that. But no, man, it's still a really good conference.
This was super fun to watch and do research.
I just saw that right there. I saw the team that we're gonna be talking about first in a bit. With the Minnesota hoodie and the Alabama. Hey, who cares? Who cares,
He's
bro?
not a bandwagon.
No, definitely not. But yeah, no, this is definitely a really good conference, and I'm hyped to get into it right here.
Yes,
and we're starting with my favorite team in college football. That's not the Gophers, but I probably routinely cheer for Alabama more because they're just more successful, to be honest. And man, this is a very make or break year for Alabama to be honest. Like, it feels like this is the one season in 20 years since literally I was born almost that Alabama could go under 9 or 10 wins or whatever the stat line is, because their win total's 8.5. Notable players for me, man, it's not the talent that's lacking. That's not why. There's amazing players all over this team. The 3 I highlighted were safety Bray Hubbard, a corner Zabian Brown, and wide receiver Ryan Williams. All these guys we talked about in all of our ranking videos. I really like all of these guys, to be honest. There's so many more guys just literally in every position that we'll get into later. But this team has a ton of notable players. Coach Kalen DeBoer just signed a huge contract extension to be on the team till I think 2032, if I'm not mistaken. To make him
long.
Yeah, I think he's a top 5 paid coach in college football, and he obviously took Washington and Michael Penix Jr., that whole squad, to the national championship. Unfortunately, lost to Michigan, but is still, I mean, in my opinion, easily a top 5 coach in college football until proven otherwise. And the quarterback, this is kind of the talk of this town right now. It's either the Alabama's highest rated recruit of all time in Keelan Russell, even rated higher than Bryce Young, just behind, why am I blank, in his class, or Austin Mack, who is the much more experienced backup. That's what he has been. And that's kind of like where a lot of this conversation stems from. It's Keelan Russell versus Austin Mack. And a lot of people don't like either of these guys, to be honest. They think Mack's ceiling isn't high enough, or they think Keelan is too young and inexperienced. And what do you think about kind of the talent level of this team, the coaching of this team, and then the quarterback situation overall?
You hit it perfectly. I have no doubts about this team other than in the quarterback. I really, really like the talent that I see in their wide receiver room, in their defensive back room. I mean, Zabian Brown and Bray Hubbard are 2 of my favorite players on this team, and they're corners and safeties. So, I mean, I just think this defense is going to be really, really good. You know, you add in guys like Caleb Woodson transferred in, Kedrick Bingley-Jones transferred in. Yeah, I don't know. And then not to mention, I want to shout out my defensive player, my breakout player right away in Dijon Lee Jr. I don't know if
same player. Dude, he's so good.
Man,
so good.
Unbelievable. 6'4", 204 pounds. He played 586 snaps as a true freshman at Alabama. Let's get that out there. Had a 79, almost an 80 overall grade as a true freshman, playing 500, almost 600 snaps. And 80.2 coverage grade, allowed 17 receptions, only 17 receptions as a true freshman for 247 yards, which isn't great. 2 touchdowns is okay, but he also had 2 interceptions and 5 PBUs. And again, yes, the stat line, if this was like a junior, you'd be like, well. But this dude is a true freshman. He's coming in to Alabama. He's immediately making an impact on the other side of Xavier Brown. So, like, this dude is another great defensive weapon for them. So you have Dijon Lee, you have Bray Hubbard, you have Xavier Brown on that defense, and then you also have
Keon Sabb. Yeah.
You have Keon Sabb. This defense is great. Offensively, I like the offensive line. I don't think they add Javen James. I think he'll be a starter. You add in Rayson Delgatti, the center. I think he'll be a starter. I mean, I'm not really worried about this offensive line. The wide receiver room's great. Ryan Coleman Williams, I mean, as a your wide receiver one is amazing. And then the only position group that I'm not completely sure about other than quarterback is running back. I don't really know like where that's going to look like.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, we were supposed to transfer in Hollywood Smothers, and he was committed to the team for like 2 days before I'm committing and going to Texas. So I think right now it's AK Deer, Ack Deer, or Daniel Hill. It's projected to be one of those two guys. I think Xavier Crowell was our 5-star running back. I think he was the number 2 running back as a true freshman. Maybe he gets some split snaps, but that is kind of the weakness of our team.
But running back is the only other weakness that I really see. Oh, and I forgot to mention in the wide receiver room, Ladzier Brooks, my offensive breakout player.
Dude, that's mine too. Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious.
Latzi is. I'm not gonna. I think he's my favorite player on Bama right now.
I kind of figured we would have similar breakout players because these two are pretty. They're pretty obvious breakout players, I would say, just because.
And that's fair.
Just because they were both true freshmen and they showed a lot for Alabama last year.
Both went insane.
I mean, Ladzier Brooks, 5'9", 193 pounds, plays the slot, had 33 receptions for 442 yards, 2 touchdowns, 68.1 grade. He only had 2 drops as a true freshman. So, I mean, both of these guys, there's a reason why we both picked them to be our breakout players is because they were true freshmen and they showed that they could compete at the SEC level on Alabama and start right away. So, it makes sense that both of us picked them. But, Ladzier Brooks and Ryan Coleman Williams in that wide receiver room, unbelievable. Yeah, it's just the biggest thing. Quarterback, man. What's going to happen? Austin Mack? Is it going to be someone else? Like,
you want me to tell you what I've heard?
Go for it. Yeah.
I've heard they're gunning for the ceiling with Russell. I've heard that Keelan is the projected starter. He played way better in the spring game. He went off in the spring game, and Mack left early with an injury. I do think, like, Mack stepped in during the Rose Bowl when Ty Simpson was hurt. So, man, he does have big game experience, and he's been with the coaching staff since,
100%.
I mean, he's been with DeBoer since Washington, I think. So, like, I don't know, but I just think Russell adds the big play abilities with his arms and as a rushing quarterback that Mack doesn't. And I think you can just diversify the offense to a point with Russell. And, like, let's be real, he's literally Alabama's highest rated recruit of all time. It kind of feels like they're going to start him, but yeah, I don't know, man, because I look everywhere. I mean, just a few guys that I think we should give some shout-outs to. Since we had the same breakout player, Michael Carroll could be another one. Yeah. He was a 5-star freshman last year, or maybe sophomore. Either way, super young player, interior alignment, and, bro, he's going to be a stud. He's going to be a first-round pick. Yeah, Dijon Lee, I think you can make the argument that he could be the number 2 corner this year. Like, seriously. And then opposite of him is Xavier Brown. Like, come on. Noah Rogers, the transfer from NC State, he's projected to be a really, really big player and kind of splitting that wide receiver 2 role with Latzi. And Yanze Pierre, I think he's an edge player. He had like 9 sacks for us last year, and he really only played prominent snaps in like the second half of the year. Dude, we need pass rush bad. I think he's somebody that could evolve into almost a first round or maybe top 50 player because he's just Alabama's number 1 guy in that D-line. But I mean this team just has talent everywhere.
John Marion Latham, QB Reese, Keon Sabb, you mentioned him, Red Morgan even. Yeah, this defense is very, very talented. Very, very talented.
No, and their line's 8.5. I'm going to be honest. I think they go 10-2. Maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. Maybe I'm huffing the copium. I think the ceiling's 11-1. I kind of do think with Keelan's inexperience and Max capped ceiling that we can't go 12-0. And that feels weird to say for Bama. It feels like they're so used to going like 11-1 minimum, but 100%. I don't think they can. But I admit their floor is 8-4. I am taking the over on this line, but I don't think it's like impossible that they don't hit this. I've heard some Bama fans be like, we will not lose. We will not only win 8 games. Like I think unfortunately the QB room could be leading to this situation. So I guess, what did you think? Did you take the over or the under? I'm kind of curious.
So I do want to preface, I actually did not choose beforehand. I'm just looking at the schedule and going like what I think is going to happen. I'm not going to be biased based on
Yeah.
what you pick, which is why maybe I should go first before you, just so I can get that off, so that
Yeah, that's yeah,
I
sure.
have no bias. But before you even said that, I was going to take the over. I
Yeah.
think 8.5 is a little bit disrespectful. I get that they have a new quarterback situation that
Mhm.
could potentially go wrong, but dude, I just think this defense is too talented. I honestly think this defense could hold most of the teams on this schedule to very, very few points. And I think the defense alone is going to get Alabama to a place where they can win most of these games. And then on top of
Yeah.
that, I just think one of these two quarterbacks is going to step up into this role. They have so many weapons. I mean, you have
Yeah.
Latsier Brooks, you have Ryan Coleman Williams.
They're-
I mean, I didn't even mention that you bring in 4-star wide receiver Sedarian Morgan. You bring in wide receiver Tyler
and
Henderson.
he's been damn good. That's what I've heard.
So you potentially you have a bunch of wide receiver targets. I mean, I don't think there's really a reason. The O-line is great. We were just talking about. I just think that they're going to have a great pocket. They're going to have great targets. One of these quarterbacks is going to be able to step into the situation, and I just don't see Alabama going under that 8.5 line, especially when, like I said, they have so much young talent. I see them winning 9 or 10 games. I would probably say the same as you and say 10-2. I might 11-1 is even on the table here. I'm looking at their schedule, and the biggest games for me that I think they'd lose is either Georgia or LSU or both.
I agree. Yep.
Because those two teams, and A&M. A&M is the other one that's really, really big. But even if they drop all three of those games, which I think they're going to at least win one of them, they're 9-3. They're above the line. They have Chattanooga on here. They have East Carolina. They have, I think, Florida State's a gimme. I think Mississippi State's a gimme.
I thought that last year, though.
Yep, that's fair. That's fair. But like, when I'm just going off of what I know from all these teams right now, I think Alabama gets this over regardless of the quarterback play. I think if the quarterback play is just absolutely horrendous, I think, like you said, I think the worst they go is 8-4. There's way too much talent on this team to have a quarterback do that much of a negative effect to your record. I'm going to take the over. I think 8.5 is a little bit disrespectful for Alabama, but I get why it's 8.5 just because the quarterback situation is so unknown. But I'm taking the over. I think they're going to go 10-2, like you said. I completely agree with that. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, it's hard because I think on one hand they probably have the best secondary in college football, or at least not a top 3.
Yeah.
But then on the other, it's like, dude, we couldn't run the ball for anything last year. And if now we can't pass either, I mean, Ty Simpson was a first-round quarterback. That's a significant drop-off to someone who's never really played college football if it is 100%. Russell as the starter. And it's like, if we can't pass or rush, I don't know, man. I guess we could lose. I'm choosing to be optimistic, though. I'm going to take that over.
I'm going to agree with you on that.
But moving to Arkansas now. Their line is set at 4.5 wins. Notable players for me is edge Quincy Rhodes, who felt like he could have been a top 50 pick this year. And I remember scouting him, and I thought he was pretty scary. He's like 6'6", 255. I think he's a demon edge setter, monster against the run. And Ryan Silverfield, their head coach that came in from Memphis, their new head coach, must have pitched something about their future good enough for him to stay, because, I mean, he could have been a top 50 pick, and now he stays and to declare into a much more talented class.
Yeah. It's
I guess
interesting choice. I mean, maybe he'll do even better this year. Maybe, but I think it was much more likely for him to be a first-round pick last year than this year. But either way, he's a stud. I mean, to be honest, he's so good. Their QB is, from what I saw, KJ Jackson. He was a 4-star in the 2024 class, so he's been sitting on the bench for like 2 years. Very limited playing time, but I've heard good things about him. Like, I heard they're very optimistic in him, and I think Silverfield probably would have brought in somebody else if he wasn't at least semi-confident in KJ Jackson. And my breakout player for them is running back Braylon Russell. He was a 4-star in the 2024 class, and last year he had a 75 grade, 286 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns, and a fumble, 5.2 yards per carry. So on limited carries, he was pretty damn productive behind Mike Washington Jr., who, I mean, let's be real, that was like, what was he drafted, 101st or something? Or no, he was drafted like 97th. He was in the 4th.
He was drafted in the third round, I think.
I'm pretty sure
really,
because the Raiders took him after Jermon McCoy.
Okay, either way, he was a really good player, super productive
100%.
running back in the SEC. So I think Braylon Russell can easily break out after being behind him and not anymore. And then my breakout defensive player is defensive tackle David Oki, transfer from Abilene Christensen. He missed all of 2025 with a knee injury, but they're expecting big things from him. And in 2024, he had 2 sacks and 22 hurries for Abilene Christensen. So I think that they just need someone to break out on this line along with Quincy Rhodes. And I think could be David Oki. But what did you think about this Arkansas squad and kind of the rebuilding process they're going through this year?
Yeah, I definitely would agree this is a rebuild year for Arkansas. You bring in Ryan Silverfield. This is his first year as the head coach of Arkansas. You're also retooling with your quarterback, a lot of your defense. You replace a lot of your offensive player. You just bring in a lot of transfers. You bring in a new head coach. This is going to be another tough year, I think, for Arkansas. Honestly, I don't think they're going to be bad.
I tend to agree,
but I do think they're going to be pretty similar to last year. I don't think you really improve off of Talon Green, right?
Talon Green, yes, Talon.
Their quarterback. He was actually pretty solid for them, along with Mike Washington, and they could not win more than 2 games. So you're bringing in a new quarterback, a new coach. I don't know. I'm just going to say I'm going to take the under on the 4.5 wins. Their schedule isn't great either. I'm looking at it. They have wins in Tulsa and North Alabama, but their conference game is against Utah. They have Georgia, TAMU, Vanderbilt, Missouri. They have Auburn, Texas, South Carolina, and LSU. A lot of those teams I'm actually kind of high on. So I'm not very optimistic about their schedule. And then along with that, you're replacing your quarterback and a lot of your weapons and defense. So I am going to take the under on them. I'm going to say they go 2-10 again. I kind of just see them very similarly to last year. But yeah, you lose Julian Neal, Mike Washington, Fernando Carmona, Talon Green, Connie Walker to the draft and the NFL free agency, like UDFAs. And then you also lose offensive lineman Patrick Kutas, tight end Luke Haas, and corner Jalen Braxton, all to the transfer portal. They were all decent contributors to the team. But you do bring in some decent players in wide receivers Chris Marshall and Jamari Hawkins, a few offensive linemen, quarterback A.J. Hill, running back Sutton Smith, a completely retooled D-line except for Rhodes, of course, who is returning, like you said, and then some linebackers, corners, and safeties. I do think they actually did pretty decent in setting themselves up for the future. I don't mind what they did this offseason. I just think it's going to take a couple of years, at least a year.
Yeah.
And that's where I honestly think this win total is kind of high. Like, they're expecting them to win 5 games as an over. I don't see it with the schedule. So yeah, I'm going to take the under. And then for my breakout players, on offense, I took guard Kobe Branham, 6'5", 336 pounds. He was a sophomore last year. He played 733 snaps as a sophomore, only allowed 2 sacks and 1 hit. He had 1 penalty. His grade was kind of low, but I honestly think he played pretty well. And he's coming into his junior year, got great size, very prototypical size. So I'm going to take him as my breakout player on offense. And then on defense, partly because of his name and partly because I actually think he's pretty good, corner Joker Johnson.
Damn.
6 foot,
Joker Johnson.
Joker Johnson is his name, bro. That's actually like a sick name, I'm not going to lie.
No, it kind of is.
But yeah, 6 foot, 195 pounds. He transferred from Tulane, where last year he played 834 snaps, had a 76.2 grade, 75.3 coverage grade. He was targeted 71 times and had 4 interceptions and 10 PBUs.
Oh,
with that amount of targeting, though, he did give up a solid amount of production, which is the biggest reason why I think he could still be considered a breakout. He allowed 4 touchdowns. Not something you want to see particularly with that. But he played on Tulane, and against Ole Miss, both times he played them, he played pretty well. And this is an SEC competition matchup. Now he's transferring to Arkansas, where we just saw Julian Neal was a 3rd rounder. He's immediately taking over. I really like Joker Johnson as a breakout player on this Arkansas defense. And yeah, those are my 2 breakout players. I'm taking the under on the Arkansas win total, but I'm excited to hear what you have to say because it sounds like you were thinking pretty similarly.
Yeah, so I'm taking the under too. I've been going 3-9. I'm kind of with you, man. Their ceiling for me is 6-6, which is only a win over that total. So I'm like,
or 2.
I don't know, man. No, because 4.5 is 5.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So it's but their floor is 1-11. They went against Tulsa, in my opinion, or North Alabama. I genuinely think they could lose to Tulsa, bro. Like, I'm being dead ass. Like, they lost to Memphis last year, and I get Memphis was way better projected than Tulsa, but their floor for me is 1-11. I think this is a team that could be good in the future. I thought Ryan Silverfield was a pretty decent coach. And in this age of NIL, bro, you would think they'd be like one of the best teams because they are like sponsored by Walmart. Like, Walmart is like their big. No, like bro, you think they should have like an NIL budget of like 100 M's, but like,
I guess not.
Well, we'll see, man. Let's see if they're willing to fork over a little cash, then maybe they have a much better future. But Arkansas is, I don't know. I feel like every year they usually have like a guy that I like in the top like 100 talent-wise in the draft, and they don't really do much after that. And I feel like this year it's kind of going to be like last year it was Julian Neal. This year it's probably going to be Quincy Rhodes.
It's Quincy Rhodes, yep. Yep.
and they're gonna go 3-9. I mean, to be honest, like Ryan Summerfield just has a lot of building to do before they're bowl
100%.
eligible, even. So that's Arkansas. But moving on to the worst team in the SEC, maybe tied with Georgia,
I
Auburn.
was like, wait, what? And then I turned the page and I
No,
was like,
like
oh, Auburn. Okay.
I mean, funnily enough, they could be a pretty bad team in the SEC this year. But
Yeah.
Auburn,
It's
their
definitely
line
possible.
is 6.5 wins. Notable players for me are linebacker Xavier Atkins, definitely one of the better linebackers in the SEC.
Sure.
Running back Jeremiah Cobb, and then wide receiver Keyshawn Singleton, the transfer from USF. Their coach Alex Golish was the former coach at USF, who was a very, very, very good team last year. Super productive, like offense. Had a ton of players go absolutely off, with most notably being quarterback Byron Brown, the transfer from USF. Absolute freaks of a specimen player. I mean, dude, he is huge. He's rocked up, bro. People
Yep.
like you look at this guy, you think he should be like tight end, and he probably should. He's my breakout offensive player. I really, really like Byron Brown. Like, I hate that he went to Auburn because, like, he was one of my favorite quarterbacks last year to
I remember we
watch.
talked about him in the quarterback video a little bit.
No, he's like actually my goat, bro. Like, I love
Yeah.
Byron Brown, and he is super dangerous. Last year at USF, 3,131 passing yards, 28 passing touchdowns, 7 interceptions for a 91.5 grade. And on the ground, he put up 1,107 yards, 14 touchdowns, and 7 fumbles. And bro, this guy just like he'll just truck stick the hell out of anybody.
Yeah, he's huge.
I mean, he's just always bigger and stronger than anybody trying to tackle him. I honestly, if he gets past the line of scrimmage, he's bigger than all these and anybody playing in the
he's
secondary.
running you over,
honestly,
bro. He's running you
no,
over.
he just is. And like he literally had a clip where it was like a wide open lane to the end zone, but he like chose to run and plow someone over instead for like literally no reason.
He's got that
and they're like
mentality.
asking, they're like, why did you do it? And he was like, I just thought that's the only way to get in the end zone, man. I just thought I had to run through him. It's like he obviously didn't, but. No, he's a dog, and the only thing about him, really weird release, super like elongated release. But yeah, they brought over. I think his number one weapon was Keyshawn Singleton, and this offense still projects to be pretty decent. I mean, I feel like most of their wide receiver talent from prior recruiting years kind of left in the transfer portal, like Cam Coleman, Perry Thompson. But they brought in a lot of guys, and then they also running back Jeremiah Cobb was really, really good for them. And then they also brought in Baylor transfer running back Bryson Washington. So they project to have kind of a scary offense with like the dual threat of Byron Brown, the two running backs, and then still decent wide receivers. My defensive then breakout, which I think their defense is a lot shakier, to be honest, is Ole Miss transfer edge Deshaun Womack. He had 3 sacks, 13 hurries for a 68.6 grade. And I think he probably just projects to be their number one edge guy. They just kind of need some pass rush juice after losing Keldrick Falk and Kieran Crawford. So they just kind of need some guys on their edge room and their line to step up. And I honestly just think it's probably going to be Deshaun Womack is who I would project to do that. But what did you think about Auburn? Because it feels like they're very talented, but it's the first year of a new head coach. So there's still some questions.
And that's one thing I wanted to mention. There is actually a lot of teams in the SEC that have first-year head coaches.
Yeah, they do.
A lot. I think it's like half.
Hey, we have 3 teams in a row.
Yeah, 3 teams.
Arkansas, Auburn, and Florida all have new head coaches.
Yep. So there's going to be a lot of changes in the SEC this year, which is why the first-year head coach thing, while it is scary, I do think it's not as problematic because there's so many first-year head coaches. So some of these teams are bound to succeed.
Sure.
But yeah, sorry, Alabama fans, but I do actually kind of like this Auburn team. Their defense, not great, but I really, really do like their offense. Even though they lose Cam Coleman, even though they lose Perry Thompson, even though they lose Eric Singleton, those are 3 really, really good receivers. I think they did a pretty solid job replacing them with, Chase Nimrod, Keyshawn Singleton, Kristen Neptune, who has a sick name, by the way. Kristen Neptune.
Yeah.
His name's Neptune.
Yeah.
And then, Byron Brown, I watched him a little bit after the quarterback video because I was interested because you hyped him up a lot. Really like him. His release is weird for sure, but great quarterback. Excellent ceiling. Very, very high ceiling. If he can fix that throwing motion, which doesn't even seem to really hold him back that much, surprisingly. I don't really know
It's just weird.
Because it's just like a very, very like mechanical way to throw, and it seems like it would slow it down a little bit. But it really doesn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then in the wide receiver room, you also add 3-star wide receiver Deshaun Spencer, a completely new O-line, and then on the defensive side, you add in Deshaun Womack, like you said, defensive interior Cody Siegler, and corner Andre Jordan. I think they did address the defense a little bit. Still pretty shaky. I think it'll be okay. against the SEC, but definitely not something I'm super optimistic about. But that offense, man, I really, really like the offense. I think Byron Brown has the capability to lead that offense for sure. He shows a lot of potential for me. With that being said, I'm not taking him as my breakout just because I think he kind of already broke out at
Fair.
I think you can consider him a breakout, though, because he could break out on the national stage.
I think he could be a
Yeah.
stud in the
Yeah.
SEC, which
Yeah.
is different.
Yep, for sure, which that completely makes sense. But on offense, I'm going to take center Cole Best as my breakout player.
Okay.
He is 6'4", 322 pounds. He replaces Connor Liu, who got drafted.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also a transfer from USF, so he'll have that chemistry with Byron Brown, with snapping, with all that. He allowed 0 sacks, 2 hits, and 8 hurries on 490 pass block snaps last year for USF. And against Miami, he allowed 1 hit, 3 hurries, and a 69 grade against the best pass rush in the country.
Damn, yeah, so that DT room is loaded.
He played very well against easily the best D-line room in the country. I just think he's going to transfer over to Auburn, and he's going to do great in replacing Connor Liu. They seem to know what they're doing with their offensive linemen. So Cole Best is my breakout player. And then on defense, I took edge Jared Smith, 6'6", 260 pounds. He's a sophomore. He played 110 snaps as a true freshman and had 6 pressures, 2 sacks, a forced fumble, and allowed 4 catches for -2 yards. So, I mean, he allowed some catches, but negative yards, and a 75.4 overall grade. He's slotted to get more playing time this year. So, with Keldrick Falk departing, he's a very, very similar build to Keldrick Falk. They seem to know what they do.
I'm intrigued. Yeah.
Yep. They seem to know what they're doing on the defensive line, and with Kieran Crawford also departing, they have a completely new D-line. So I could easily see Jared Smith stepping up into a Keldrick Falk type role for Auburn as a sophomore. And then for this win total, 6.5 wins. I'm looking at their schedule. I don't mind it. It's not too bad, not too easy. I think it's kind of in the middle. I'm going to take the over just because I really like their offense. I think Alex Golish is a good coach at USF. He's proven that. He was very competitive with them. He transfers over with a lot of his talent. It's kind of like a not exactly like Oklahoma State, but similar, where he brings a lot of his talent, and he's a good coach. I just think they were 5-7 last year, and they did not have much last year, in my opinion. Like not a great roster. And they put up a decent fight against a lot of these better SEC teams. Now you bring over a lot of talent, in my opinion. I get you lose a lot of talent, but you also bring in a lot of talent. I just think they can get the 6.5 win total with the schedule they have. I mean, I'm looking. They have Arkansas, that's a win. They have Mississippi State, that's a win. They have Samford, that's a win. Baylor's a win. Southern Miss is a win. I mean, that's 4 right there, and I think they can slug out a couple more to get over that 6.5. So yeah, I'm gonna take the over, and yeah, I think Auburn's going to be fun to watch this year because they did a lot to change this roster and bring in, kind of a new regime change. But I'm interested to hear what you have to say because you're an Alabama fan. So is bias going to enter the picture here?
No, I'm actually taking their over too. I think they go 7-5. I don't mind Golish. I actually think this could be one of the best running games in the SEC.
Yeah.
I mean, Bryson Washington, Jeremiah Cobb, and Byron Brown. Like, dude, that's I'm a good luck. I do think their O-line is going to have to hold up. I think it's actually like projected to be their worst kind of like skill group or position group on the team, I guess you could say. And hopefully like your guy breaks out and alleviates that, at least not against Bama, but for the rest of the season. And it's like, yeah, I actually pulled up Byron Brown because I was interested. His time to throw, for anybody that doesn't know, time to throw, like you want to kind of have it, I would say, between like 2.4 and like 2.8 seconds, kind of depending on the offense. Obviously, like quick RPO scheme offenses are going to be quicker. Byron Brown's was 2.99 last year. That's not like horrible. It's only really bad when it gets to like 3.2, 3. So it's not like detrimental by any means. And it at times has been 2.7, 2.95. So I don't, in other seasons, like I think he could get it down reasonably to like 2.8 and be fine. So I don't think that will kill him. But yeah, I'm taking their over. I think their ceiling's 9-3 kind of because of their easier schedule. And I think a lot could click for them with this run game. But then their floor is also 4-8 for me because a lot of these USF guys could be very disappointing. Golish could potentially not live up to the hype, and Auburn can kind of just be mediocre again, to be honest. I think a lot depends on, you have to hit with a lot of these USF pieces that you brought over in the offseason. But yeah, they're definitely going to be interesting to watch, man, because they do have some guys that are very, very talented at the end of the day. Yeah, and then moving on to Florida. They're another team, kind of very, very similar. New head coach John Summerall. Where was he? He was at Tulane, yeah? Tulane head. He was a previous Tulane head coach. Yes.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and obviously they went to the college football playoff. They were really, really good in the American. Tulane's been pretty good team for a long time. Their line sit at 7.5 wins. Notable players for me is running back Jaden Baugh, who we talked about. I was a little bit lower on, but a lot of people, yeah, you really, really like him. I think NFL Stock Exchange both had him as their number one running back. Both of them really, really liked him. And he's huge, man. He's like 235 almost. Like, bro, he's like Derrick Henry size, and he moves freaky as hell too. So he's definitely probably their most notable player. Quarterback Aaron Philo, the transfer from Georgia Tech, is I'm a little worried about, to be honest. Former 3-star, so not even a big former recruit. Very limited experience at Georgia Tech, and he's kind of projected to be their starter. So I mean,
starter, yeah. I mean, they only have two quarterbacks currently on their depth chart. So
yeah, I'm not really sure how this is gonna go, but I will say their wide receiver room is actually pretty decent. They have, I believe, Eric Singleton Jr. Did he transfer over?
Yep.
Yep, Eric Singleton Jr. transferred over. They have freshman wide receiver Dallas Wilson, I think. He's a really, really good projected player.
I have that he's a sophomore, but I don't know.
Yeah, he was a freshman last year. That's what I'm saying.
Last year. Okay,
he was a really, really good, or at least showed a ton of potential as a freshman. They had another freshman wide receiver who looked really good, who was my breakout offensive player, in Vernell Brown. He went 40 receptions on 58 targets, 511 yards, no touchdowns, but a 65.1 grade. Showed insane promise as a freshman with a horrible passing game. I mean, just being honest, like DJ Lagway did not look good last year. And he still produced at a pretty decent level. And then my breakout defensive player for them is corner Cormani McLean, 68.5 PFF grade. Yeah, overall pretty good. He was a former 5-star, the 13th player in the 2023 class. Went to Colorado. It didn't really work out there, so he transferred to Florida. And this year, 12 for 21, 197 yards, 3 touchdowns allowed and an interception. I think he can break out for them and be a really solid corner. I think he has all the talent in the world. And he's also a really solid player in the run game. 16 tackles, only missed 1. Pretty physical as well. So I think he could break out and kind of tap into that former 5-star talent and be a really, really good player for them on their defense. But what did you think about Florida? Because, like we said, same story for this team. You know, new head coach, bringing a lot of players from that team. And kind of what do you expect for them and John Summerall? And I'm just interested to hear what you had to say, man.
Now, before I do this, I do want to preface, I do like John Summerall as a coaching acquisition. He was great at Tulane. I mean, led him to the college football playoff. This is Tulane we're talking about. So obviously good coach here. I do really like their receiver core. Like you said, my breakout player is Dallas Wilson. So I'm glad you mentioned him.
Oh, okay.
He is 6'3", 212 pounds, had 21 targets as a true freshman. He had 12 receptions for 174 yards and 3 touchdowns. And against Texas was most of that production. He had 111 yards and 2 touchdowns against Texas, 80.6 overall grade. He's got it, man. And I like you said, with Dallas Wilson, I just blanked on his name.
Vernell Brown.
With Eric Singleton coming in through the transfer portal, this is a good wide receiver room. My biggest concern, really good. Do they have the quarterback to support this wide receiver room?
Yep.
I don't know if I trust Aaron Philo quite yet. He's very, very limited in experience. Granted, I think he has the skill set, but it might take a year or two for him to get settled into this offense. And for that reason, I'm going to take the under on 7.5 wins. I feel like that's a really, really high bar, especially for a team that, you know, their schedule isn't easy, man.
No, it's like probably the hardest in the country.
Yeah, they have Auburn, Ole Miss, Missouri, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia. Like, dude, this schedule, it's rocky, and this is a win total that you need to win 8 games on this schedule. Like, I don't even think this isn't even hating on Florida. This is just a crazy win total. I don't even mind Florida. I don't think their defense is bad. Their offense with a quarterback could be solid. I really, really like Jaden Baugh. But yeah, like this win total line is crazy to me. I'm going to take the under pretty easily. I think they go like 6-6 this year. Maybe 5-7.
We see it exactly the same, brother.
Yeah, but
under. I'm taking the under, and I'm 6-6. Yep.
Yeah, and that's not even like, I feel like that's pretty solid. Honestly, they went 4-8 last year, and I think going better on this schedule is impressive. With this wide receiver room, I think it's possible. I think their defense is solid. My breakout player on defense is like edge, linebacker, hybrid, Jaden Woods. He is 6'3", 245 pounds. He played 448 snaps as a true freshman and had 4 sacks, 25 tackles, 1 forced fumble, 1 interception, and a 69.8 overall grade. And, you know, he had good games versus Texas. USF, who is now his coach. USF he played well against Tennessee, Texas A&M, and my biggest reason for him breaking out is he needs to step up. They lost both of their edges to the draft and UDFAs in Tyreek Sapp and
George Gums Jr. Their coach is John Summerall, not Golish.
Oh yeah, not Golish. You're right. Thank you for correcting.
Yeah. I was confused with that. I was like,
no, you're right. Right. But yeah, against USF, who was a good team, Tennessee, Texas A&M, Texas.
Lost that game. I remember.
Yeah, he had good games.
That upset. I remember thinking they were going to lose that. And I was stoked on that hit. Yeah, I was like, I think USF was going to win because I love Byron Brown. Byron Brown. But I remember that.
That's really
Dude,
funny.
I was like, hey, Byron Brown's the GOAT. They're going to win. And then they won. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, you were like, being serious.
No, I was just joking.
But yeah, Jaden Woods, I expect him to step up with the departures of Tyreek Sapp and George Gums Jr. Good size, prototypical size, showed a lot as a true freshman. So Jaden Woods, and then obviously I already mentioned Dallas Wilson is my offensive wide receiver. I really, really like their wide receiver room, like you said, very talented. I just think if Aaron Philo, I'm trying to remember how, I don't think he's very old because he doesn't have much experience. If he can stay another year in this system, I think he could become a decent starter. I just think, coming in this year with limited experience, you got a first-year head coach. This is all what's the word I'm looking for? Like an adapting year, like a.
Yeah, no, I know what you're trying to say.
They're
rebuild. It's just rebuilding.
Yeah, thank you. This is a full rebuild year for Florida. You lose a lot of your talent to the draft in Caleb Banks, Jake Slaughter, Austin Barber, Devin Moore, Tyreek Sapp, J. Michael Sturdivant, and then you lose some guys to the transfer portal as well. This is just a rebuild year. And honestly, we both have them winning more games than last year. I don't think this is a bad year for Florida if they go what we project them to. I just think this win total is so crazy. It's almost like they didn't even look at the schedule. Like, their schedule is really, really tough, man. And this 7.5 win total is, I think their ceiling is like 8 wins.
Their ceiling for me is 8-4. Yeah, because they face Georgia, Ole Miss, Texas, and Oklahoma. I don't think they beat any of them.
I don't think they win any of those games.
I will say this with Florida. It's funny. It always feels like they're given the worst slate possible. Like, it always feels like Florida, like, talent-wise, is like a 7 or 8 win team. But then they just get thrown the hardest schedule, and then they go like 4, 5, 6 wins. Where it's like Texas A&M last year, bro, their hardest game was Texas, and then after that, it was like no one. And they almost lost to South Carolina. Like, they almost lost all these games, and they go 10-1. And it's like, bro, I think if Florida has an easy schedule as Texas A&M last year, they're probably winning 8 or 9 games. Because, like, bro, Florida beat Texas last year. It's not like they didn't have the capacity to beat these big teams. It's just, their schedule's like, you're playing Texas, and then next week you're playing Georgia. And then, by the way, the week after that, bro, you're playing Ole Miss. And then, it's finally an easy game, but it's still a huge rivalry game in, like, FSU or something. And they're like, bro, what?
Like, literally this season, they play Texas, Georgia, Oklahoma back-to-back-to-back.
Yeah. And then the game before that is South Carolina, which is, like, nothing I feel like to scoff at. Mizzou, which is a pretty solid team. Ole Miss, who's obviously still a really good team. And then before that, like, Auburn. Like, bro, you don't get a break. Like, none of these teams, at best, they're 50-50, and it's not because they're bad. It's because they're all pretty good, and it's just like, bro, Florida just gets dealt a really shit hand, it feels like.
Yeah, but I feel like I need to preface that I don't think Florida's a bad team, and I think they're
me neither.
Rebuild. I just this win total is nuts to me, man. I don't know how they decided on it. I almost want to bet on this, bro.
I'm kind of there with you, bro.
7.5.
I think their logic is their run game is going to be really good. They're going to beat like every 50-50 game. Like, I think the books probably think they beat like Mizzou, South Carolina, Auburn, and then that would get them, I think, 7 wins. And then I think they're saying, well, if they beat Texas last year, there's no reason they can't upset Oklahoma or Ole Miss or maybe even Georgia or Texas.
There's just so many ifs in that.
But I agree. And it's just like, bro, there's like, Bond needs to be good, if not better. Summerall has to be really good. Philo needs to be like competent enough. All their wide receivers need to get better. Like,
the whole prerequisite to that, though, is that they need to be able to be running the ball. Like, what if they get behind, man? They're not just going to be running Jaden Baugh the whole game.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I don't know, bro. He's going to get like 40 carries a game.
No, he should. I really like him. He should be their workhorse, but he can't do everything, man. There's a reason why running back is not a very highly viewed skill position, because it's just like, it's not very high positional value because you need other positions to step up. But yeah, anyway, Florida, I don't mind them. I don't see them getting over this win total. You feel the same
Nah, me
way?
neither, bro.
Yeah. Moving on to Georgia.
Yeah, so Georgia, obviously the top dog in the SEC and
Mm,
has been with Texas and Bama for at least 5 years, 6 years. Their win total is 9.5 wins. Three notable players that I highlighted for them are safety KJ Bolden, corner Ellis Robinson, and running back Nate Frazier. All three players we highlighted
yep.
in our preview videos, which I feel like that's a really good sign. Honestly, if
It
we
is.
highlight all three of your notable players, man, you probably got a good, pretty talented squad. Coach Kirby Smart's a big reason why. He's a really, really good recruiter. He's really, really good in getting guys to buy into this mentality that Georgia plays with. It feels like they're a very tough team. I mean,
For
they're
sure.
running it down your throat. They're playing ruthless defense. Like if you're a fan of any NFL team, there's a good chance that one of Georgia's defensive players is on your defense
Yep.
right now. Like
I
over the
can
last
I
five
can speak
years,
for
to be honest. I mean, it just feels like that's the case with how much they produce out of defensive talent. And quarterback Gunnar Stockton is kind of the thing that's capping their ceiling for me, to be honest. He's fine.
Yeah.
I just think he's kind of like a point guard quarterback. I think they're leaning a lot more on the run game, and I think he makes throws they need him to make. But when it's time to like win games, or maybe like you're playing like 2 touchdowns behind and you need him to be really, really good, I think he's kind of lacking with some of the arm talent and some of the big playmaking ability. But I will say, it feels like their receiver room's kind of been lacking as well. I mean, like even when you have a guy that's really good for them and like Ladham McConkey, he's not
Mm,
very productive. He got drafted very high off of like limited work and what they projected him to do. But that's why I'm gonna take my breakout player is wide receiver transfer from Georgia Tech, Isaiah Canyon. He went 33 for 46, 480 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a 66.8 grade. I just think he's probably going to be really, really big in their wide receiver room, and they kind of need him to be because it feels like that's kind of like what's lacking on this team right now is an elite wide receiver talent. And then my breakout player for them on defense is defensive tackle. Elijah Griffin. He was
okay.
a 5-star in 2025. He was the third overall player, so maybe this feels like a cop out.
Eh,
But he had in his true freshman season 1 sack, 9 hurries, 13 tackles, 4 missed tackles, and a 71.6 grade. I just think, man, like my logic for this is Georgia turns these guys into beasts. Like he's not just
well,
gonna
yeah,
be a good
Kristen
player;
Miller.
he's gonna be
Yeah.
like a beast. Like he's gonna be like a top 50 to 60 player in his draft, if not like a first round pick. I mean,
Right.
think about all the elite defensive talent that's come out of Georgia. I just think Elijah Griffin is like going to be the next guy up. And in 5, 6 years, if he's one of the better players in the NFL at his position, like I'm not surprised. That's the level of talent this kid is playing at, especially being coached up under Kirby Smart in this program. But what do you think about Georgia and this line? Because I mean, man, they're a damn good team with lots of talent. I'm just interested to hear what you have to think about them.
Yeah, man. I mean, I just trust Kirby Smart so much. This dude
Yeah.
has proven time and time again he's an amazing coach. This is his 11th season coaching Georgia. Last season, made it to the CFP, went 12-2 overall after it was all said and done. Lost to Ole Miss,
Mm-hmm.
which honestly I think could be considered
Huge
I
upset.
I
It was
think
a
they
huge
should have won.
upset.
They had a
Yeah.
90.7 team grade last year. Like you mentioned, Nate Frazier, awesome running back, and then their
Yep.
DB room in Ellis Robinson and KJ Bolden. Both those players we talked about. Both those players I was really high on. You were even higher on Ellis Robinson than me, and
Yep.
I still like Ellis Robinson. But yeah, this team did lose a lot of talent to the draft and to NFL UDFAs. They lost Monroe Freeling, Kristen Miller, CJ
Mm-hmm.
Allen, Oscar Delp, Zachariah Branch, Dalen Everett, Colby Young, Dylan Bell, Noah Thomas. I mean, their wide receiver room got picked apart, man. It got picked
Yeah.
apart, and
It really did.
it already wasn't like amazing.
No, it really
But yeah, like you
wasn't.
said, they bring in Isaiah Canyon. Really like him. I think that's a great pickup. Along with
Mm.
4-star tight end / receiver Caden Prothrow. I'm not sure exactly what they're going to play him at. I think he can be an instant addition to that offense. But yeah, this wide receiver room and their quarterback are the biggest reasons why I'm a little concerned about them this year. The
Mm-hmm.
biggest thing though is Gunnar Stockton was their quarterback last year and they went to the CFP. I
Yep.
get they lost a lot of talent, but I mean he can do it when they need him to. He's not like amazing, but he's serviceable. They just need to have Isaiah Canyon or someone in the wide receiver room give him a target because if they don't, they're going to really, really rely on the run game. And while Nate Frazier is awesome and he's going to be a great workhorse for them, I just don't know if he can do it all. Kind of like with what I was saying with Jaden Baugh. And I even think Jaden Baugh might be better than Nate Frazier. And I just don't know
Not crazy.
if I don't know if Nate Frazier can carry this offense without any wide receiver help or quarterback help. But this a 9.5 win total, I think I'm going to take the over. I just trust Kirby Smart too much. I think that Gunnar Stockton can get it done if needed. Someone's going to step up in the wide receiver room. Georgia's just perennially good, or annually perennially good. I trust Kirby Smart and this team too much, and their defense, man, their defense is elite.
It's always good.
They're going to keep them in games. I just like you said, like if they're down 2 scores, I just don't see them getting down 2 scores. Honestly, they're going to keep it close with everyone. And that's where I think they can run it more. There won't be as much pressure on Gunnar Stockton. I'm going to take the over. I was looking at their schedule. I don't think it's horrible. It's not amazing either. Alabama's going to be tough. Ole Miss is going to be tough. Oklahoma's going to be tough. Those 3 games are the really, really tough ones. I think they can win every other game, and I think they win at least one of those 3 games I mentioned. If not 2 or 3, maybe they go 12. I don't see them going 12-0, but maybe they do because it's Georgia. But I'm going to take the over on 9.5. I just think Georgia's too consistent to go under this line. Certainly could be possible, but we'll see. I'm gonna keep trusting Georgia until there's a reason not to. But then going to my breakout players for offense, I'm gonna take interior O lineman, true freshman Zyke Helton, 6'3", 300 pounds, 4-star recruit. He's 18 years old, big recruit. He's slotted to start right away for Georgia.
Wow.
I just think he's surrounded by a good O-line right now. I just think he's going to have a lot of help, and for that reason, he's going to be pretty solid in this offensive line. Along with that, Georgia knows what they're doing recruiting. Kirby Smart knows what he's doing. He picked this guy for a reason. If he's starting as an 18-year-old true freshman, he has the skills.
Could be good.
Could be good. Could be good. So Zyke Helton is my offensive player for breakout. And then on defense, C.J. Allen departed. They need a new linebacker to step up. I'm taking Chris Cole, 6'3", 235 pounds. He's a junior, played 423 snaps last year as a sophomore and 107 as a true freshman. Last year, he had 4 sacks, 50 tackles, and 2 PBUs with a 7.4 missed tackle rate. So he was very, very consistent in the tackling game for them.
Sounds like it.
And yeah, I just think someone needs to step up for C.J. Allen's departure. I think Chris Cole can do it. So he's my breakout player on defense.
I mean, does anybody have a better linebacker pipeline
than Georgia?
Georgia. I mean, right. Really.
If you're a linebacker and you're getting recruited by Georgia, go to Georgia, bro.
No, like genuinely. Like, I mean, just at the top of my head, like you got Quay Walker, Nakobe Dean, C.J. Allen. I mean, like these are all like very highly drafted guys. Yep. I mean, there's definitely someone I'm missing too.
There's 100% more that I am not.
Nolan Smith. I mean, he's more like an edge linebacker hybrid. I mean, literally, bro, who is like Jalen Walker? Once again, kind of like an edge hybrid player, but like also kind of lurks in the linebacker role. Like, bro, if you're like 230, 240 pounds and Georgia's recruiting you, unless Bama's recruiting you, go to Georgia. Like, bro. No, I mean, they have good linebackers too, though. They do. But no, Georgia's definitely. No, that's true. He is. Georgia definitely though. Like I was literally gonna ask you, like, do you have a guess on who the next C.J. Allen's gonna be, or Quay Walker, or literally any of these guys? Because it's like now sounds like you got him. So that's a good. Well, he has good snaps to back that up though.
He does, and for that, like that's the reason why I picked him. But there's also Raylan Wilson, who I think could be very good and step into that role as well.
They probably got like a fucking 5-star, 4-star too somewhere.
I'm sure they brought in. I mean, on the depth chart, the others that are listed are Justin Williams, Zayden Walker. I mean, any of these guys could step up. I'm sure they all have good size. There's a reason they're on Georgia. But yeah, there's going to be one of them. Let's put it that way. I think it's going to be Chris Cole, but there's going to be one of them. They have one literally every year to no end. But yeah, I'm going to take Chris Cole. I think he has prototypical size, has some good snaps. He's going to step up this year. But yeah, Georgia taking the over. And then my offensive breakout is Zyke Helton. My defensive breakout is Chris Cole. I'm interested to hear what you have to say, though, because this line is it's a tough line. I could, like, it's possible they go under. Like I said, I just trust Georgia a lot, but interested to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I'm taking the over. Like you said, I trust Kirby too much. He's just proven he's the best coach in college football, in my opinion. Their defense is just too good. What they're strong at, I mean, like, we know it's still going to be strong. Like, Nate Frazier's probably only going to get better. Their defense is only going to remain incredibly lethal. You're kind of right. Like, well, they might not be able to pass if they're down. I kind of doubt they're going to be down a lot anyways.
Right.
So for me, it's like, I don't really feel like that's that big of a worry anyways. But yeah, 10-2, their ceiling for me is 11-1. And their floor is 8-4. Like a lot, I guess, like assuming just a lot of these big games go the wrong way for them and then maybe they get upset or something.
Yeah.
They could go 8-4. But yeah, I'm taking 10-2. we just know it feels like every year we know what we're going to get with Georgia. And until that, kind of like Ohio State, kind of like
Right.
Alabama, I'm not going to be taking the under.
Until
It's
there's a
kind of
reason to
set.
doubt them.
Yeah, I'm going to be taking the over when they consistently prove that they're going to college football playoff and being good. Like,
Right.
yeah, I'm taking the over. But moving on to Kentucky, their line is set at 4.5 wins. Notable players for me, I don't really have any. Just straight up, not any
Yeah,
big
that's
national
fair.
names for me. Their coach, once again, new coach, Will
Yep.
Stein, the former offensive coordinator at Oregon. Pretty big hire for them, honestly. We're talking about a guy who's Oregon's had probably the best offense in college football for a long time. Somebody who, well, at least since Will Stein's been under the helm, somebody who completely flipped the trajectory of Dante Moore. I mean, this guy was like a 5-star that was thrown out by UCLA, essentially. Like, no, I mean, he looked horrible at
Yep.
UCLA. Virtually like UDFA tape was playing at the level of he was playing there. And then he comes and now he's being potentially drafted number 1 overall, number 2 overall. Would
Number
have
three
went probably
overall.
number 2
We had
overall
number
this
3, but
year.
he
Like,
could go easily top 3.
easily, that's his ceiling now. Obviously, with all the players they have at Oregon, I really, really like this hire for Kentucky. Like, really like this
I
hire.
do.
And with the quarterback development in mind and kind of the retooling of quarterbacks that don't really seem to work out, I'm actually kind of interested in their quarterback situation. They go get transfer from Notre Dame, Kenny Minchie. He's been
Yep,
a
Kenny
3-year
Minchie.
backup for them. 4-star, 161st player in the 2023 class. So he's a little bit older, but Kate was a super big recruit, right? And bro, he's always like Notre Dame's always had NFL talent in front of him. At the end of the day, it's not like he's been a backup to bums. Like this guy could be a really, really good player that just kind of has been
Yeah,
sitting behind
absolutely.
really, really good players. I mean, Riley Leonard like might start a lot of games for the Colts this year if Daniel Jones gets injured. And when he
Well,
started
right,
them
and
last year, he looked decent. And honestly, CJ Carr is like
CJ Carr.
I think he could be drafted really, really high.
I
So
mean, both me and you. I mean, in our mock draft, I had him going to the Steelers at like 12. But I mean, both me and
yeah,
you were saying he either probably goes way higher or he waits for the next
Mhm.
draft because he
Yep.
he has a lot of talent.
No, he has a ton of talent. So I'm really, really intrigued about Kenny Minchie. This pairing with Will Stein, really, really like it. And my breakout for them on offense is tight end Willie Rodriguez.
Okay.
23 for 41, 319 yards, a touchdown, and a 65.8 grade. I just think he could be their premier player. And it feels like tight ends are always used pretty decently at Oregon. I mean, obviously Sadiq, Jamari Johnson, just to name a few, Terrence Ferguson. So I feel like Willie Rodriguez could definitely become a staple of this Kentucky offense. And on defense, I have defensive tackle Tavion Godson, 3
nice.
sacks, 14 hurries, 15 tackles, 1 missed tackle, and an 80.4 grade. I think he could probably step up and be like their really, really good defensive player. Kind of because they need him to, but also pretty kind of because he's really talented. And yeah, what do you think about Will Stein? Because it feels like this could be a sleeper team for some people if you like this hire and this quarterback move. So I'm interested to see what you have to say.
Yeah, no, Will Stein, great hire. Really like it. I mean, anytime you're going and getting a coach from a big name organization, I just think it's good. They usually know what they're doing. They were there for a reason. I just think Will Stein, like you said, turned around Dante Moore's career. He's gonna be a good coach for them eventually, if not this year, in the coming years. I would not be surprised. Right away, I just want to get off the table. Me and you both have the same defensive breakout player. I also took defensive tackle Tavion Gadsden. Really like his size, like you said, prototypical size. Played decent snaps in 2025. Had a solid grade, solid production. Yeah, I took Tavion Gadsden, defensive tackle. And then on offense, I took running back C.J. Baxter. 6'1", 230 pounds. He's a junior. Had pretty low production in 2025 at Texas, but as a true freshman, I mean, he had 665 rushing yards. He was a 5-star, had 4.8 yards per attempt, and 5 touchdowns. So it's like he had the abilities coming out of high school. He just kind of got buried, I think, last year. So we'll see. Maybe he'll come into Kentucky, who seemed to use Seth McGowan pretty well last year, and maybe he'll break out for them. But yeah, like you said, Will Stein knows what he's doing with quarterbacks, brings in Kenny Minchie, who, like you said, I think he could have been buried. He could have the talent, could have just been buried behind great quarterbacks at Notre Dame. And then you also bring in some weapons for him in Shane Carr, Nick Anderson, 3-star wide receiver Denarius Gray, 5 offensive line. I mean, they completely retooled their offensive line. Yeah, on defense, bring in linebacker Elijah Barnes, corner Hassan Sykes, and safety Jordan Castile, along with defensive back Aaron Gates. So I think they did a lot of retooling, and I really like what they did, actually, honestly, in the offseason, bringing in Will Stein as their coach, and then along with that, like completely retooling their team to kind of fit around him. Their win total is 4.5 wins. And looking at their
Mm,
schedule, it's tough, man. They have Youngstown State and South Alabama, which are probably free. And then after that, man, their out of conference game is against Louisville. They have Alabama, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Vanderbilt, Missouri. This is a tough schedule, man, for a team that is completely in rebuild mode. Completely in rebuild mode. And
yeah.
I really, really, really do like what they did this offseason. I just think it's going to take a year or two to settle
Mm,
into the system. Man, though, they did go 5-7 last year, and I'm looking like I don't know, man. The schedule's really, really tough, but this also isn't like a super, super unachievable bar for
mm-hmm.
Kentucky, especially if a lot of things work out with the coaching change and the players they added. I think I'm gonna stick with my gut and take the under, but I think it's gonna be close. I would, let's put it this way, I would not be surprised if they take the over at the end of the season, just because they went 5-7 last year, and honestly, they almost have more talent now. But we'll see. The schedule's tough, man. The schedule's tough. I think they're going
For
to
sure.
be they're going to be a feisty team, and they're them hitting the over would not surprise me, like I said. But I think it's going to take a year or two for the system to kind of get into the swing of things. So for that reason, and along with the fact that they have a hard schedule, I'm going to take the under. I have them going 4-8. But I'm interested to hear what you have to say, because I don't honestly know where you're going to go here. You might take the over, and I wouldn't be surprised.
No, I amazingly have 4-8 as well. Under.
Oh, dude,
Funnily enough, I think this line should have been set at 3.5. I get that they're probably high on Will Stein, but I feel like 4-8 for how hard their schedule is actually pretty decent.
mm-hmm.
I, and yes, there's a reality where Kenny Minchie is like really good, and
Yeah,
I get that. But dude, I'm like, I think you lack the wide receiver talent. Like, I think the run game, I mean, you kind of need CJ Baxter to go crazy, and then even still,
yeah.
it's like with this line, like, how good is it really? I
Well,
just think
right.
the
It's
talent
a
level, yeah, it's just so much lower. Like, this is probably the least talented team in the SEC. I mean, just straight up. Because I think of even like the really really bad teams as well. Like Arkansas has Quincy Rhodes. They don't have a caliber of player even close to that. I think of like
right.
Mississippi State. Mississippi State has Kelly Jones.
Yep.
I mean, like all these other teams have much more notable players, and it's like Kentucky just doesn't really have that star player to
For
lead
sure.
an upset in a sense, or kind of like hold the fort down on like because they used to have like Bill's corner. He's the Bill's corner first round pick like 2 years ago. I didn't think he should be a first round pick, but like that's the type of player they usually have. You know what I'm talking about? What's his
Oh,
name?
it's me off,
He's really fast. He hasn't been that great. He's been
bro.
like
Hold up.
average. Yeah, I was gonna say just look at it. But it feels like before they had that player, and I know they almost upset Georgia last year. But for me, it's just like I just think you lack the talent to kind of hang with a lot of these bigger teams in the SEC. At the end of the day, that's just what it is for me, and I'm gonna take the under on this line because until Will Stein can actually get to recruiting and bring some
Maxwell
talent in,
Hairston.
Maxwell Hairston, yep. It just feels like they're not going to be competitive with a lot of these teams, no matter how good their coaching is. There's just a
Mm-hmm.
lot to rebuild here, in my opinion. But yeah, I think it's just as simple as that. It's just a talent gap between them and,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
even the South Carolinas and
yeah.
Floridas. It's like
Well,
South
and this is
Carolina's
a,
still
this is
bringing in 5 stars, and
right, which we will
I
get
just,
to.
I don't
But yeah,
know. Yeah.
this is another team that I feel like taking the under here is not. I'm not trying to disrespect. Like, I seriously think
No, yeah.
they did good this offseason, and I think they have a future with Will Stein. But yeah, the
Mhm.
schedule, just like Florida, the schedule is ridiculous, bro.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and here's what I'll say. Like, and I don't want to like spark this argument or anything, but when people are like, "Oh, the SEC is bigger than the Big Ten," I think if this team had like Michigan's schedule, they'd probably go like 6-6.
That's not
Like, that's
crazy.
kind of like when people say that, that's what I mean because it's like, bro, the free wins for Kentucky are like outside of like the free wins. They don't really have any. Like their next easiest games, like the caliber of team that they're playing, it's
No,
like
I know.
Florida,
I
South
was trying to
Carolina,
decide.
Mizzou.
Their next easiest game is probably Mizzou or Florida. Like,
Yeah, so
honestly,
it's like for
outside
me,
of Alabama, and like honestly, South Alabama could probably put up a fight.
yeah.
Maybe.
So I just think like if they were facing like Michigan State, Purdue, Rutgers, Maryland, like bro, they can go 4-0 in that stretch easy. I just don't think there's a stretch ever in the SEC where they could go like you're like, oh yeah, they could go 4-0 easy. So
Right.
that's kind of like my thing with the difference in conferences. But no, Kentucky, it's like, bro, if they just got a little bit of an easier schedule and maybe just a little more talented, like they could go 6-6, they could go seven and
Yeah,
five, like, and that's what I kind of would expect for them in like a year or two because I do like Will Stein. But just for right
for
now,
sure.
it's like kind of just don't expect much this year, I would say, and hope for better, greener pastures. Like that's all I'll really say.
I think that is there for them.
No, like I said, 100%. If Will Stein can get to recruiting, there's no reason they can't.
For sure.
But yeah, moving on to LSU, their line is set at 8.5, which extremely disrespectful in my opinion. We'll get to that later. But notable players for me are transfer tackle from Colorado, Jordan Seaton, which I think might be the best offensive lineman in all of college football. Tight end Trey'Dez Green, who might be the best tight end in all of college football. And linebacker Whit Weeks, who is kind of like known for dating head coach Lane Kiffin's daughter, while also being a really good player, right? That's not the only reason why.
Game, bro.
But yeah, Coach Lane Kiffin was like the biggest kind of story in the offseason, I guess, with him leaving Ole Miss to go to LSU, and all the Ole Miss fans were like, "Oh, you're a traitor! Like you can win it." And then he was like, "Nah, bro, Ole Miss doesn't have the resources to win a natty." And then like Ole Miss was like literally like a play away from literally being in the natty, and LSU hasn't been shit for like years, so I kind of don't get that argument, but whatever. It kind of feels like he just left for money, to be honest. Like
I think it was probably a scapegoat.
So I mean, you can say he's a sellout, or you can say all the nasty things you want about Lane Kiffin, but at the end of the day, he's still a really, really good coach. I mean, genius offensive mind, and he's maybe the best recruiter in the country. Like all these guys, I know he wasn't able to bring over like some of the better talent on Ole Miss, notably, why am I blanking on my quarterback's name? Oh, well, Trinidad Chambliss, Will Eccles. I'm just blanking on all the Ole Miss players. K'Wan Lacey, like I know he wanted all those guys, and he got like Suntarine Perkins, and I think he got one of their big edges. Princewell's. I think Suntarine Perkins is still on Ole Miss, actually.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is. So I know he wanted like all of those players and didn't get them. But then all the other guys he brought in, like Jordan Seaton and everything, quarterback Sam Levitt.
Watkins.
Yeah, he still killed it in the transfer portal at the end of the day, man. And that leads me to Sam Levitt, transfer from ASU. The way I would describe Levitt, we talked about him in our quarterback video, is like the highs are unbelievably high. The lows are kind of very, very low. Very, very bipolar player who it seems like, his top throws are like first overall talent. I mean, we're talking about like ridiculous plays. Like the chemistry and the plays that he had with Jordan Tyson at ASU are like nutty. But man, the lows are like
they're low.
They're not great. They're low. So it's kind of off of what you think Lane Kiffin can get out of him. But obviously Lane Kiffin got a lot out of Trinidad Chambliss, got a lot out of Jackson Dart, got a lot out of a lot of quarterbacks in the past, and he specifically went and got Levitt. So I would remain positive about that move. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. And my breakout offensive player is running back Harlan Berry. In 2025, 5-star, 15th player in the 2025 class. And as a true freshman, he had 481 yards, 4.6 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns, 3 fumbles. So he did fumble more than he got touchdowns, but he was a true freshman with a 67.8 grade. I just think for the caliber of recruit he projects to be like a really, really big piece 100%. In this offense. And then a guy who I think has top 10 potential very sneakily. I feel like I'm kind of like, guy. No, he's my guy.
No, he's my bro. If you say his name.
No, I liked him first, buddy. What okay, let me say. Did we talk about him?
I don't think so.
Okay, then maybe not.
Okay, no, we don't have the same guy. Okay.
So I picked Jordan Ross, the transfer from I'm super interested to hear your guy out. Transfer from Tennessee, who we talked about in our Edge video. He was he was a 5-star, 22nd player in 2024. And in 2025, very, very limited snap count, 2 sacks, 9 hurries, and a 77.2 grade. But bro, you go watch his good plays. They're unbelievable.
No, I do remember talking about it in the Edge video. I actually
ridiculously good.
I don't think I watched him, or did I? No, I did. I did watch him. I really liked him. Yeah, I do remember liking him. I don't know if I like him top 10, but you really like him, and I still like. I think he could be a first rounder.
Bro, I think he's like, and obviously anytime you project anyone to top 10, it's probably more unlikely than not that they don't hit that. But that's definitely a ceiling in my opinion, and he probably declares in 2028, to be honest, unless he has an insane year this year. But I'm thinking like in the 2028 class, we're talking about somebody who could be one of the premier defensive players. But yeah, what did you think about LSU? Because it feels like this is a program that's desperately trying to get back to their glory days with all the moves they've been making. And I'm interested to hear what you have to say, man. And your defensive breakout player. Like, you gotta let me guess before you get to it. Let me make a guess.
I will let you guess before I say it. Yeah. But, bringing in Lane Kiffin. I mean, I get Lane Kiffin has he's very polarizing coach because a lot of people don't like him because of the things he does. I actually really like him because I think he's funny.
No, and he's a former Bama guy. I actually do like him too.
I actually really do like Lane Kiffin. He's a character. I've heard from like I listened to what's his name, bro. I'm blanking on his name now. He has a big podcast.
Josh Pate?
No, he doesn't. It's not a sports podcast. I'm completely blanking on his name, bro. Theo Vaughn. Theo Vaughn is friends with Lane Kiffin.
Okay.
And Theo just like over and over has said how cool of a guy Lane is, and I kind of believe Theo because Theo seems
so
like
funny.
the realest dude ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lane Kiffin, I really like him. But yeah, last season at LSU, 7-6, not a great season overall. Had an 80.9 team grade. But dude, the key players on this team, there are so many. That's the biggest thing for me. There's so many key players. I mean, Jordan Seaton, Sam Levitt, Tradez Green. I put Deshaun Spears, couple corners, and I'll get to one of them.
I know. I was gonna say I already know who it is.
And
I guessed it. Like in my head, I know who it is.
Yeah,
and he's so good. Yeah,
Yep. But then for additions this offseason, they bring in wide receiver Jace Brown, Jackson Harris, and Winston Watkins. And I believe Winston Watkins was at Ole Miss, so he did get Winston Watkins. And then along with that, Jordan Seaton, who, like you said, best tackle in the country. Like I feel pretty right. Along with Elio Ba, I think that's how you say his name, guard. And then Sam Levitt, running back Dylan Jones, edges Jordan Ross, and Princewell Uman-Mielen, who is probably the biggest Ole Miss transfer that Lane Kiffin brought over.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Definitely.
No doubt.
Linebacker TJ Daughtery, safety Ty Benefield, and then 4-star defensive tackle Deuce Geralds, and 5-star edge Lamar Brown, who currently sits behind both Princewell Uman-Mielen and Jordan Ross. So he's a name to watch for sure. For my offensive breakout player is wide receiver Winston Watkins, transfer from Ole Miss. He's 5'10", 182 pounds. He's a sophomore, and as a true freshman, had 26 catches for 376 yards at a touchdown at Ole Miss. I mean, he's basically Barry and Brown.
He's
literally
the
Barry
go.
and Brown. He's
who's been killing it in Saints camp, by the way.
Who's been killing it in Saints camp.
Yeah.
And he's like a very shifty, fast, like electric player, slot player, just like
Jordan Tyson 2.0 was what I'm hearing, maybe with Sam Levitt.
Not as big. But
Okay.
But could get the production. I could see the production. But yeah, Winston Watkins for me is my offense, and then my defensive. I mean, I'll let you guess, but I think you know.
It's DJ Pickett.
It's DJ Pickett, corner. Yeah. DJ Pickett. He's a sophomore, 6'4", 189.
No, and he moves like.
And
so silky, it's ridiculous.
It's silky smooth, bro. Silky smooth. Had 524 snaps as a true freshman, a 78.6 grade, an 85.5 run defense grade, a 76.2 coverage grade. He had 3 interceptions and 2 PBUs. This is as a true freshman in the SEC. I feel like I've been saying this about a lot of corners. But, dude, yeah, DJ Pickett, his length is insane. It's insane. It's insane. And if he puts on a little bit of weight, dude, I think this dude could go top 10.
Bro, he's probably going to be my number 1 corner just because of his size. Like, genuinely, like, in 2028. Like, because I just love the length.
I mean,
but he's also unbelievably talented.
He almost has the same size as Kelly Jones. And, like, that's the reason why we're so high on Kelly Jones is because he has the length.
I think he might be bigger.
DJ Pickett might be bigger, and he's way smoother. Way smoother. This dude
is
good. Mark my words, he will be a top 10 pick in the 2028.
Damn. That's a pretty.
Clip it.
I like it. Call your shot, bro.
Come back and clip it, bro. DJ Pickett, top 10. He has like a career-ending ACL injury.
No. He transfers to like San Diego State. Chris Johnson, though.
Chris Johnson. First rounder, by the way. But yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
DJ Pickett, really love him. Winston Watkins, I think, will be a great addition to their offense. Man, 8.5 wins is their win total. I'm gonna take the over. I'm not even gonna think about it. I get that they have a lot of new talent and a new coach, and they went 7-6 last year. But dude, the amount of just listing the key players, they have so many.
Yeah.
There's no reason with Lane Kiffin as your coach that you should not be able to put this together and win 9 games.
Like
they went 7-6 last year, and honestly, I don't think their team was amazing. You have Mansour Delane and and Halsey. Those were their first 2 picks in the draft, and that was pick 6 and it was the 3rd round was AJ.
Halsey was 70 something, I thought. 70,
Halsey
80
was in the
something.
3rd round, and that was the 2nd LSU pick. This LSU team, I guarantee will have 5 players in the first 2 rounds.
Bro, I was gonna, dude. LSU this year could have legitimately 3 players in the top 10.
Yeah.
If
And that
Levitt
would,
hit,
yeah.
like there's a reality where they have the best O lineman in Jordan Seaton. They have the
Yep.
best tight end in Trey Green. They have the best quarterback in Sam Levitt.
Yep.
They have a top 3 edge in Jordan Ross. They have a top 5 linebacker in Whit Weeks. I mean, maybe he obviously is not draft eligible, but like Harlem Berry could go insane. Like DJ Pickett could be a top 1 corner. Yeah. Like, wait, is Prince Will? Yeah, he is.
He's draft eligible. But
like
yeah,
he could be a top 2, 3 edge. Like, dude,
there's no reason why this team should not be able to go over this 8.5 win mark. And their schedule is not bad.
Yeah.
They have McNeese, they have Mississippi State, they have Kentucky, they have Arkansas, they have LA Tech. Like, dude, that's 5 free wins, in my opinion. That's 5 free wins right there. And then all you have to do is beat Auburn, which is definitely winnable, Kentucky, which is winnable. I think they can beat Ole Miss or TAMU. They can beat Clemson. They can beat Tennessee. These are all winnable games. They don't have really any games where I'm like, oh, this is a loss. I'm trying to look at their schedule. The only game that I think they probably lose is Texas. I don't even know. I think they could beat Texas or Alabama too. I would not be surprised.
I agree.
Yeah, I think they honestly. I think they probably smash this win over. I'm gonna take 10-2. I think they go 10-2. That's my prediction.
Me too.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, 10-2, bro. I mean, just assume it's exactly like the same thing from. I mean, we might as well. It's kind of ridiculous.
Dude, we literally.
I mean, really, like we're just same exact record. My thing, bro, is they're one of the 2 teams I have that are going 12-0 in the SEC. Like as the ceiling. I had Bama at 11-1. I had Georgia at 11-1. They're 12-0 because like. All it takes for them to go 12-0, they're easily better than every team talent-wise outside of Bama and Texas. And all it would take is for Bama to have kind of like a bad QB game or a bad QB season, and then you just beat Texas in like a close game. And then you literally have more talent than like every other team. I mean, debatably like Ole Miss and TAMU, but I still think they're better than both those teams. Yeah, I think they go 10-2 though. I think they probably drop 2 of Bama, Ole Miss, TAMU, and Texas, and then win every other game. But nah, bro, I'm with you. They're just so talented. And on a side note, can we talk, bro? Why does it feel like there's first off just elite corners like everywhere? I mean, because like Oregon with Finney and Sanchez, bro. I'm so serious. I think in 2028 there could be genuinely like 7 corners in the first round. Because like just off the top of my head, bro, Finney, Sanchez, you got like Zabian Brown. I mean, he might get drafted. Some of these guys might get drafted this year, so maybe not. But Zabian
Brown's gonna get drafted this year.
That's what I said. But like, he could maybe stay. Ellis Robinson, Kelly Jones,
Dijon Lee.
Yeah. I mean, like I'm just looking at kind of like some of these players like that I highlighted. I mean, I know Texas, bro. They have some insane players.
Well, and I think
John Meredith is like going to be draft eligible in 2028.
I'm pretty sure I have more corners as well, like down the list, like for
no, for sure. I mean, DJ Pickett. I forgot to say DJ Pickett. Like, bro, there's like 10 guys right there. That's like
I have another one like coming up. I have 2 more at least coming up.
Yeah, it just feels it's like I don't know why, but it feels specifically with corner. There is just an elite corner presence in college football right now. Like it feels like the corners are better than they ever have. And then specifically the SEC, like it's just insane. I know Oregon has Finney and I know Ohio State has Devin Sanchez and Jermaine Matthews. And then like obviously Leonard Moore at Notre Dame. So there's like good corners obviously outside of that, the SEC. But bro, Eli Bowen for Oklahoma, like
Eli Bowen.
Oh, and then the kid from Penn State, bro. He was my breakout player. He had like I'm not even going to lie. He might have had the best freshman corner season on anybody, but for some reason he went under the radar because Penn State is here. I can find it in like 2 seconds, bro. There's just so many names. Darius Dixon.
Yep, Darius Dixon.
Yeah. He had a 78.3 grade, 2 forced fumbles, 13 for 23, 132 yards, 0 touchdowns allowed, and 5 press breakups as a true freshman. Like, bro, what are we doing?
Like, yeah.
And there's definitely other people. Like, there's people in the Big 12 that I'm forgetting right now. There's people in the ACC that I'm forgetting right now.
Yeah.
Miami's definitely got a fucking stud, bro, or 2 or 3. Like, come on, dude. But yeah, for me, LSU just goes over. That's what I don't know about you, but I'm kind of expecting edge and corner to be like our 2 really, really big videos this year. And probably even next year too. And defensive tackle, I think this is going to be a superstar draft for defense, honestly. But
Definitely.
There's just I'm looking at kind of like my breakout play, bro. There's so many good players in this conference.
There's so many.
Like it's so hard to keep up with all of them and be like fans of all of them. There's just so many good ones. But we want to move on to Mississippi State, which has one of my favorite, just right off the bat.
Yep.
LSU, I mean, just to wrap up, like they're gonna be good. They're in contention for the Natty. They're probably one of my top 5 teams. But moving on to Mississippi State, their line's 4.5 wins. Notable players for me is a guy that I think could be a top 15, top 10 cornerback, or I mean overall player.
Yeah.
Kelly Jones.
Well, I mean,
all the length in the world.
In our
talked about him in the corner.
We had him going top 15. We had him 11th or 12th, 11th of the Commanders.
I think that sounds right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because the joke was that when is a Mississippi State corner going to? Yeah, Kelly Jones he's a freak though. I mean, dude, we're talking about DJ Pickett. I think right now he's probably like a safer version of DJ Pickett. I think DJ Pickett's ceiling is probably higher with his movement abilities.
I would agree.
But like, if you like DJ Pickett and you kind of want him now, I mean, bro, Kelly Jones is still an amazing player.
Yeah.
He's unbelievably good. Head coach Jeff Lebby seems to be trending in the right direction with this program. I don't know a ton about him, to be honest, but with the players he has developed and some of the guys they brought in, it also feels like Mississippi State has been a lot more dangerous in the last few years. Like, you cannot just write them off like you used to be able to. And quarterback Kamario Taylor is one of the players that they brought in that they're really excited about with Jeff Levy's recruiting. Very limited experience, but as a freshman last year, 4-star, 119th player. I think he was like the 7th or 8th quarterback in last year's class, but almost a top 100 player. And I've heard very, very good things about Kamario Taylor. I've heard they expect him to be really good this year and a superstar next year. And my breakout player on offense will definitely help alleviate some of the weight off his shoulders in running back Fleff Bothwell. He transferred in from, I think, South Alabama, if I'm not mistaken, like 2 years ago. Last year, he was partially injured and still had 677 rushing yards, 4.8 yards per carry, 6 touchdowns, 1 fumble, and a 73.6 grade. I think if he's healthy all year mixed with Kamario Taylor's rushing ability, this could be very, very dangerous 100%. Duo to look out for on offense. And then as my defensive breakout player, I have true freshman safety Braylon Womack. He was their number one. No, way, 2 for 2.
Just keep going.
Okay. 4-star, 53rd player. He was their highest recruit. I mean, in my eyes, this kid's pretty much a 5-star. I think he was like the number 2 or 3 safety. So they land him in a median star.
Well, I mean, he was the 53rd national and 3rd overall in Mississippi. So he was.
No, I'm just saying for like safety, like in the country, like what safety he was ranked.
Second.
That's why I think he was 2nd or 3rd. But pairing with Kelly Jones, I mean, you could have a really dangerous secondary. You could have a really great dangerous rushing game, and it kind of just takes 2 good groups combined to become a pretty scary team in college football if you're well coached enough. So Mississippi State, man, feels like they could maybe have some upset games this year, maybe be a better team than people expect. And what do you think about this team and kind of what they're projected to do?
This is another team that I just think is kind of on the come up. I think Jeff Levy,
I agree,
like you said, has been trending them in the right direction. They went 5-8 last year, 72.8 team grade. My key players I listed, obviously Kelly Jones, and then I also listed wide receiver Anthony Evans III and safety Isaac Smith. They're kind of role players on the team, so I think those guys can contribute. This offseason, they lost a decent amount of players. They lost Brendan Thompson, Sado Traore, Albert Reese IV, along with defensive lineman Kedrick Bingley-Jones, who transferred to Alabama, tackle Javen James, who also transferred to Alabama, and running back Johnny Daniels, but they did add wide receiver Marquise Johnson, guard DJ Chester, guard LJ Prudhomme, defensive interior Dalen Evans, edge Amari Evans, safety Marcus Williams, and corner Quentin Taylor. So they added a solid amount, a lot to their secondary room. I think their secondary is going to be really, really good.
Dude, it's going to be really good.
We have the exact same breakout players, Fluff Bothwell and Braylon Womack.
Oh my god.
This is actually, I feel like we've been doing this a lot more recently. And like, I emphasize this, but we literally write these down beforehand, like on our own.
Well, it's funny for me because it's like, it's not like it's just with the bad teams where it's like, oh, they only have like a few players to be hopeful about.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, we had the same exact for Alabama, who it's like, as a Bama fan on offense, I could have picked Michael Carroll. I could have picked any one of our young running backs. Right. I could have picked any other of our young O-linemen. I could have picked like Platzi. I could have picked Sidarian Morgan. He's been insane. I was this close to picking Sidarian Morgan. It's like same thing on defense. You have so many young guys on defense. It's like we picked the same too. Like,
yep.
Yeah, that's
But
it's
yeah,
just crazy.
Fluff Bothwell, who might be in the name Hall of Fame already, 5'10", 230 pounds. This dude is bulky as hell.
He's a bowling
Holy
ball.
Lord.
Like
Dude, he
literally,
literally
bro.
is a bowling ball. And last year, like I think you went over it, but 141 attempts, 677 yards, 6 touchdowns, and like you said, he was partially injured. So I mean, just putting up
Mm,
those stats for a partial season is awesome. He's going to be great this year. And then on defense, I also had Braylon Womack, four-star
mm.
recruit. I think he probably could have been a 5-star, very, very high recruit nationally. I'm not impressed with their current starter. I think he can pretty much start right now. I would not be
Yeah.
surprised. But yeah, Braylon Womack and Fluff Bothwell. And looking at this line, again, this is another team like Kentucky and Florida. They have
Yep.
improved, but dude, this schedule is hell. This schedule's hell. Like, dude, I, they
Yeah,
play
it's not easy.
they play LA Monroe and Tennessee Tech. Those are wins, so they're 2-10 right there.
Hmm.
But Minnesota, I loved. South Carolina, I
Yep.
like. Missouri, I
Yep.
think is going to be solid. I think they could maybe pull that game out. But then you have
I agree.
Alabama, LSU, Oklahoma, Texas, Vanderbilt. That's 5 losses in a row. And
That's a
then,
really brutal 4-game stretch.
dude, I think their ceiling is maybe 6 wins if they upset a team and then win both against Auburn and Missouri. But even then,
Mm,
dude, that's going to be really, really hard. I think they honestly go 4-8, which again, I think is a good season for them. I like in this schedule, I think they could maybe upset a team and go 5-7, which is where the line comes in. But I just think it's safer to pick the under here. But again, I want to preface, I don't think Mississippi State is going in the wrong direction by going 4-8 here. I think they have improved. It's just this is the schedule from hell, dude. This is the schedule from hell. This might be worse than Florida. They have literally 5 games in a row that I just don't think they can win. Maybe they
yeah.
can, but yeah, I'm going to take the under on 4.5. I'm going to say they go 4-8. Would not be surprised if they go 5-7 by with an upset. But I just think the safer pick is to go 4-8 because with what I've seen, I just think the other teams are going to beat them in LSU and Alabama and Oklahoma and Texas, or not Texas, yeah, Texas. But it'll be interesting to watch them because I actually do like their roster, kind of like I don't mind it, but yeah. It'll be interesting to watch, but yeah, I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
Dude, I just realized this is our first disagreement.
Is it? Okay.
Like we're like 8 teams in. This is our first disagreement. I'm taking the over.
Okay.
I think when you have dude, their secondary is gonna be ridiculously good.
It's
Like
going to be really good.
Isaac Smith with Kelly Jones with Braylon Womack, and I mean, then you bring what they have on offense, Kamario Taylor and Fluff Bothwell.
Yep.
I like Kamario. I think he could be really good for them, and I think Levy's a
Absolutely.
good enough coach and has this program trending upward. Like the easiest way to win upset games against big teams is by having a really, really good secondary and then being able to
Definitely.
run the ball when you're up if they make mistakes. So it's like, dude, if they beat some of these teams, like okay, like let's say like Vandy, freshman starting a freshman quarterback predicting,
Mm-hmm.
like that's potential win. South Carolina, they kind of fall apart when they have to pass. That's a potential win.
Yep.
I mean, even
For sure.
Minnesota, Mizzou. I mean, some of these teams that aren't starting like elite level court, like even Alabama. If I'm picking a team that Bama loses in an upset, it's probably against Mississippi State this year, to be honest. Like
Okay.
when you just have a secondary that's that good, and Kelly Jones is kind of just shutting down your wide receiver one. Because I mean, let's be real, Kelly Jones could match the speed of Ryan Williams. He can kind
Mm-hmm.
of blanket Lotzie if you wanted him to. It's like I just think they're gonna win an upset game and then kind of win most of these 50-50 games. I think they go 5-7, and I'm gonna take the over.
Okay.
I don't mind this team. It's
That's
still
completely
the
fair.
fact that I'm saying like I'm high on them and they're going over and they're still five and
Yeah.
seven. It's like
That's the
damn,
SEC.
damn, yeah, no, for real. But this is still a really good team, I think.
No,
And yeah, they just
yeah.
kind of got cucked by their schedule, low key.
I,
So
I think this is a team to watch out for in the coming years. I think they're doing a lot to improve.
yeah, well,
Um,
especially since next year, bro, if they keep Kamario like and build around
Yeah.
him and bring in more like
Exactly.
offensive talent around him, I mean, they could
Well,
be
I
a
mean,
really good team.
both
Like
of our breakout player on defense was a freshman.
true
So he should
freshman.
be here next year
Yep.
probably. Yeah, I think this team has a great future ahead of them. So if you're a Mississippi State
No,
fan
yeah.
out there, you should be excited.
No, and I don't mind this team. I actually kind of like cheering for them.
Yeah,
I
don't
like their
mind them either.
jerseys, low key. To be honest,
They're
like if
kind of
I'm being
tough.
honest, I like their jerseys, and I like Fluff Bothwell. So I think he could go off this year. Moving on to Mizzou though, or Missouri. Their line
Missouri.
set at 6.5 wins. Notable
Yep.
players for me are tackle Caden Green and running back Ahmad Hardy. We talked about Ahmad Hardy. I just want to say I think Caden Green's probably up in contention for the number one O lineman. I do think
Yep.
Seaton's better, but I think
I would
he's
agree.
like a close second, honestly. He's very, really good. Coach Elijah Drinkwitz is pretty good. I know when I think Penn State tried to aggressively go after him. I think, was it Florida. There was a bigger SEC program than Mizzou that tried to go after him. Either way, he was a big name in the coaching cycle in carousel this year. He stayed at Mizzou though and brought in some pretty big transfers, it seems like. So it kind of, if I had to guess, Mizzou probably gave him a contract extension and probably gave him some money to go recruit with, because quarterback Austin Simmons is transfer from Ole Miss. He was benched for Trinidad Chambliss, which it's never great when you get benched, but I mean, let's be real. Trinidad Chambliss is probably like a top 3, top 4 quarterback in college football right now. I mean, he's very up there, like this floor being as high as it is. As a prospect, it's a little different, but in terms of just overall talent, he's definitely up there. And I thought Simmons played pretty average. I think a step down to Mizzou is definitely still better. Like, you're not expected to do as much at Mizzou as compared to Ole Miss. So I don't mind this. I would say it's probably a slight step up from Bro Pribula last year. So I think that's good. But my breakout, I did it again. My breakout offensive player is wide receiver Caden Lee, probably following Austin Simmons, transfer from Ole Miss. He went 44 for 64, 632 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 72.2 grade. I just think he probably projects as Austin Simmons wide receiver 1, and I wouldn't be surprised if he has a 1,000-yard, 5-6 touchdown season. I think he could break out heavy for them. And this is a good move for him, too.
Yeah.
And then my breakout defensive player is defensive tackle Marquise Gracial. 80.4 grade, 3 hurries, 1 bat, 14 tackles, 1 missed, and an 86.8 run defense grade. So he is going to be stout against stopping the run for any team that Mizzou faces, and is probably just their player that's like, you got to get past him before you get to anybody else. And Marquise Gracial. So, yeah, what do you think about this team? Because it feels like at the top, with Ahmad Hardy and an elite O-lineman and Caden Green, they could definitely do something this year. But a lot has to click for them. So I'm interested to hear what you have to say about regards to Mizzou.
100%. I kind of like this team. I think they were underrated last year. They went 8-5, but I don't think their record reflected truly how good they were. I think the SEC just kind of brought their record down. I mean, they had a 92.9 team grade on PFF. I just think they probably should have had a better record than 8-5. But I mean, we'll see this year. Maybe it'll be some of the same. But Elijah Drinkwitz, I think he's a good coach. I think he's done very well with this program. They're constantly in competition. They make it tough for a lot of teams to get that.
No, they do.
Considered free. Yeah. And then for my key players, I listed Ahmad Hardy, Caden Green, and I also listed Caden Lee. I think he's going to be their wide receiver 1.
He already is pretty good too.
He's already pretty good, and I just think following Austin Simmons, they already have a connection. I think he's going to be their wide receiver 1. But overall, man, I really like what they did in the offseason with the additions. I really like the Austin Simmons addition. He's my offensive breakout player for them. I just think his size is prototypical. He's 6'4", 215 pounds. I mean, in the 118 snaps he played over the last 2 years, he had 9.9 yards per attempt on 75 passes in 2025. I just think he's going to be solid on this offense. With Caden Lee, who followed him, that gives him an automatic target who he has a connection with already. And then along with that, they add Caleb Goody from Cincinnati. I think he'll be solid. And then you also have Caden Green on that offensive line, who's a great protector. Yep. You add Zach Owens, another guard. I think he'll be decent. And then on this defense, you add linebacker Robert Woodyard Jr., corners Jaleel Florence and Chris Graves, and then defensive back Elijah Dotson. I think they retooled this secondary pretty well. I think their linebacker room is good. My breakout player is linebacker Nicholas Rodriguez. 6 foot, 225 pounds, a little undersized, but last year he played 352 snaps, had 59 tackles, 2 sacks, 3 PBUs, a 7.8 missed tackle rate, 83.7 grade, and a 78.4 grade across all metrics on PFF. So he was very, very consistent. And with the departure of Josiah Trotter, I feel like I do this a lot, but like there's these key positions that teams lose. I just feel like
sure.
they constantly produce the same good positions. They're obviously good at developing these type of players. I think Nicholas Rodriguez is slotted in a perfect position to step up into a full-time starter for them and a big producer, honestly. But yeah, their defense, I actually really like their defense. I think their offense is at least at the minimum serviceable. I think Missouri is going to go over the 6.5 win total. I think their schedule's pretty favorable too. Looking at it, they have Arkansas, Kentucky, Mississippi State, who that's sort of a tough game, and then Florida, Troy, Arkansas, Pine Bluff, and then Kansas, who we talked about in the Big 12 video. I'm not super impressed with them.
Yeah, me either.
I mean, to me, that's at least 5 wins right there, and I think they can chew out 2 more. They went 8-5 last year in the same conference. I think, in my opinion, they improved. I think they're gonna go over the 6.5 win total. And yeah, Austin Simmons is my breakout offensive player, and Nicholas Rodriguez is my breakout defensive player. I'm interested to see what you have to say. I would think you would tend to agree with me, but I could be wrong. So
No, yeah, I did. I took the over. I have them going 7-5. I did like what they did this offseason. It feels like they have a solid enough defense, and then man, they could have a really really good offense. I mean, we all know like the talent Ahmad Hardy is. I mean, potential running back 1 in college football for sure. I mean, their O line's pretty damn elite if you're running behind Kane and Green. Austin Simmons, it feels like wasn't amazing, but definitely has an opportunity in like a lower, I guess, pressure situation to be a lot better, especially if Caden Lee, who is a really good receiver, follows him. I just honestly think they could be a really, really underrated offense in this conference. And yeah, I'm taking the over on them, and I think they'll be fun to watch. I mean, there's just too many like firecracker players. Ahmad Hardy, Caden Lee. I mean, Caden Green is like one of those linemen that's so good he's like fun to watch. You know what I'm saying? It's not even like that's how good he is. So I do like this team, and I think they're probably gonna be upsetting a few teams that they probably shouldn't. But yeah, Mizzou, look out for them. Honestly, I think Elijah Drinkwitz has this program in the right direction for sure. And do you want to move to Oklahoma?
Yeah, Oklahoma, let's do it.
Yeah, so Oklahoma's their over underline is 7.5 wins. Notable players for me is defensive tackle David Stone, corner Eli Bowen, wide receiver Isaiah Satania. I believe we talked about all 3 of these players in our videos. Did we? We might have not talked about Eli Bowen or Satania. I don't think. Okay.
No,
then it might have. We might have not talked about Satania.
You briefly hit on Satania and Bowen.
Okay.
I remember.
Well, Satania is somebody who I feel like I like every single day. Like more, I like him more every day. I mean, I think he's unbelievably underrated. Stone is obviously really good. This is an elite defense, and they always have been. And it's because of Coach Brent Venables. He is a nightmare to go up against. I mean, he's beaten Bama these last few years. It feels like outside of the college football playoffs where we beat them. But in the regular season, because dude, he blitzes honestly, this defense is like the complexity of it is an NFL defense. I think Brent Venables is probably like a top 5 to 8 football defensive mind. I mean, honestly, he's so good, dude. Venables, it's like you watch this defense, they're so talented. They play they punch above their weight class. You know, they play above their talent level. And it consistently feels like they are an absolute force to deal with, no matter who they play. Quarterback John Mateer he was their quarterback last year. He was pretty good. Like, honestly, before his hand injury, I think he had like Heisman hype. Like, actually, he was projected to be like second. I think he was second in Heisman voting first half of last year. But then after his hand injury, where he had surgery on it, he was kind of rushed back. He looked like horrible, like really, really bad. But I mean, I know a lot of Oklahoma fans are just kind of hoping that it was his hand injury. My breakout player on offense for them is tackle Michael Fasusi in 2025. So last year, he was the 5-star 5th player as a true freshman. And he played virtually the entire season for them, starting at tackle as a true freshman in the SEC, 676 snaps, 65.1 grade. This is another one of those kids who 5-star SEC, he's going to be a first-round pick. I mean, 2028, this guy, if he's the number 1 tackle off the board, don't say I didn't tell you so. He is unbelievably elite, all the size in the world you could want. I mean, as a freshman, comes in and has an above average grade in the SEC off of almost 700 snaps. This kid's a monster. He's going to get only better, and he's probably going to be Oklahoma's best player outside of maybe Isaiah Satania. My breakout defensive player is a defensive tackle, Jaden Jackson. He had a 69.2 grade, 3 sacks, 7 hurries, 15 tackles for 2 missed. And I honestly just think next to David Stone, he's going to eat. I think teams are going to be so focused on David Stone that they're going to forget about Jaden Jackson still being a pretty solid player, and that he could definitely be a force in this defense. And I mean, let's be real. You could probably take any player on this defense to break out if they're a projected starter, and there's a good chance they're going to be good this year. That's just how good this defense is. But what did you think about Brent Venables? Because it feels like he always has Oklahoma as a very scary team to deal with.
No, I love the way you put it with punching above their weight class, because while I don't think this roster exactly matches up to a lot of these SEC schools, I do think that they're going to be solid again just because Brent Venables always puts them in a good situation. I think John Mateer, like you said, I think it was the hand injury. He looked at least serviceable before the hand injury, and then after that, he just did not look great. So hoping he comes back healthy and is able to go back to how he was playing, because when he was playing well, he was leading this offense like as best he could. And then along with that, you have aforementioned Isaiah Satania. I think he's going to be great. David Stone, potential top 10 player in this class. And that's saying a ton because this class is loaded. David Stone, probably the number one DT right now. And then I also, for key players, I noted Owen Heineke. He was a potential draft pick this year. He opted to come back, and he is now a senior, I believe. But he's been kind of a cornerstone.
Sounds right.
He's been a cornerstone in that linebacker room for them, kind of a team leader. So I felt like I had to mention him. This offseason, they did lose a decent amount of players to the draft, to free agency, not free agency. I always say that, bro. To the transfer portal.
Like UDFAs.
Like UDFAs.
Transfer portal. Yeah.
Transfer portal. They lost R. Mason Thomas, their best pass rusher. They also lost Fabici Nuaiwu, Grayson Halton, Kendall Daniels, Robert Spears-Jennings, Jaron Kanak, and Deion Burks. Jaden Ott was a UDFA. Demonic Williams was also a UDFA. And then they also lost QB Michael Hawkins Jr., who was kind of a safety net for them at backup. Like, if John Mateer isn't great,
for sure.
Like that's honestly one of their biggest losses, in my opinion.
I agree.
Corner Gentry Williams, linebacker Kobe McKenzie, running back Javante Barnes, and wide receiver Jaden Gibson. And honestly, they didn't add a ton. Like, they added Trell Harris and Parker Livingston, which I actually
you're really kind of right, actually.
I think Trell Harris was great for Virginia. I think he's going to give John Mateer a good target. Parker Livingston, I think that's a great pickup. I think he'll be immediately a starter. They also add tackle Imarian Harris, who will be a starter, in my opinion, and then tight end Hayden Hansen. I think he'll be a good player. For my offensive breakout player, I took a different offensive lineman in Ryan Foji, 6'5", 330 pounds, played 433 snaps as a true freshman last year, allowed 1 sack and 12 hurries. He had a 71.1 pass block grade. I just think he has the size. He's prototypical size for a guard. He played 433 snaps as a true freshman. He just needs to keep improving, keep developing. He's got the size. I just think last season you could tell he was a freshman. And I think this season he's going to improve on that. In a very stacked offensive line, like we were kind of saying, I think this offensive line is great. I mean, your breakout player was a different true freshman offensive lineman, so it's like obviously they have something going on there. And on defense, my breakout player is Edge Adebawore, I think is how you say his name. Pretty tough to say his name, but
big name.
6'4", 260 pounds. He's a senior. Played 283 snaps last year, had 2 sacks, 5 hurries. Just needs to fix his tackling, honestly, and he's taking over for that R. Mason Thomas spot in a defensive line with David Stone. I'm blanking on the other guy with Taylor Weem.
Oh, Jaden Jackson.
Jaden Jackson. I just think he's in a prime position to at least be productive. So I would expect Adebawore to break out for their defense. And then for the over-under total, 7.5 wins. Look, man, this is a tough schedule. It's
for
tough,
sure.
But I see them going over. They did it last year. I think they can do it again this year. I just trust Venables too much. I trust this defense too much. It's kind of a situation with Georgia. Like, yeah, maybe their quarterback situation isn't the best. Maybe their wide receiver room isn't the best behind Satania. But, like, dude, I don't know. I think their defense is just good enough where they're going to be in games as long as Mateer comes back and is serviceable and, their offense can get points on the board. I think this team wins over 7.5 games. I would tend to have them going 9-3, maybe 8-4. I think they barely do it because this is a tough schedule, man. I mean, they have Texas, they have Ole Miss, TAMU, even Michigan could fight Georgia. Like this schedule is tough. I just think Venables is too good to lose more than 5 games. Or more than 4 games. Like I would honestly be kind of surprised if Oklahoma went below this line just because of how good of a coach Venables is, how good his defense is. Definitely possible. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, definitely possible. But I'm excited to hear what you have to say because you really like Venables as well. So
no, I do, and man, you don't beat an upset like Bama and go to the playoffs as Oklahoma without elite coaching and elite talent. Right. And I think this is consistently one of the most disrespected teams in college football. Because I hear all the time from all these they shouldn't be in the SEC. It's kind of a disgrace that the SEC lowered their standards and let them in. Bro, This is a good team. This is pretty consistently a top 7, maybe top 6, top 5 team in the SEC, it feels like. And I have them going over. I have them going 9-3.
Okay.
The way they play, with especially on defense, where it feels so relentless, I think they're easily able. I mean, like if we're talking like Texas, for example, Arch Manning's still a young quarterback who kind of falters at sometimes. Them beating Texas is not. Texas might be more talented, but the way they play is not good for Texas. Even Georgia, honestly, like if you get a quarterback like Georgia with Gunnar Stockton kind of on, like you pressure him as much as you do with his front, like you can beat Georgia. It's not Texas A&M. Man, Marcel Reed makes some pretty bad decisions in some pretty big situations, especially when pressured. You win that
100%.
game, not surprised at all. So they just play all these games like Michigan, Bryce Underwood. Come on, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And they beat Michigan last year. I just think this team is unbelievably talented. I mean, just in terms of guys that I think could be like first-round picks, I mean, Michael Fasusi, David Stone, Isaiah Satenia, maybe not first round, but like top 50, Eli Bowen. I mean, they just have good guys, it feels like, everywhere. And there's definitely going to be players that break out even more on defense. I mean, you have smart players too, like Heineke and Peyton Bowen, who just feel like they raise the overall floor of this team. And I know this defense is going to be elite. This offense is ceiling if Mateer gets healthy and Fasusi gets better. And dude, this wide receiver room is low-key stacked. Trell Harris, Parker Livingston, Isaiah Satania. I mean, they all complement each other really, really well. And then all it takes is for Mateer to just be an average. Right. And if he taps into the Heisman really ceiling he showed, dude, this could be like a natty team. Like this could be a underdog, dark horse natty team. Honestly, it could click for them. It really could. So I have them going 9-3. Like I'm taking this over. I think they're consistently one of the most fun teams to watch. And man, the talent. I mean, it just feels like they have guys every year. They're right there with some of these teams, man. Like honestly, I really
100%.
believe that. So yeah, Oklahoma, scary, scary team for me, and I'm taking the over.
Sure.
But unless you have anything else to say about them,
no, we're good.
You want to move to Ole Miss? Okay.
Ole Miss, yeah.
So Ole Miss obviously went to the Sugar Bowl, lost in the Sugar Bowl last year to who did they lose to, bro? Because they weren't Miami. Miami. Their line set at 7.5 wins. Obviously, they had the huge, not scandal, but offseason story of Lane Kiffin leaving them. Pete Golding being promoted just before the playoffs. They actually go deep in the playoffs, beating Georgia, keeping it close to Miami, almost going to the Natty. Like they're like a play away from the Natty with Pete Golding coaching them up. And I think the biggest story of the offseason for Ole Miss shouldn't be any of that. I think it should be that Lane Kiffin went to LSU, and it's kind of like the story, but Lane Kiffin went to LSU, has all the money in the world, and they managed to keep almost Trinidad Chambliss, Kejuan Lacey, Will Eccles, Suntarine Perkins, Deuce Alexander. They kept all these guys. I mean, Pete Golding has these guys bought into this program, and in the age of NIL, that feels so rare. Like, it does. I know for a fact it was a huge story. Lane Kiffin tried to get all these guys, and it felt like 100%. He got like one of them, and they kept everyone else. And I mean, we're talking like Kejuan Lacey, running back one, potential written all over him. Will Eccles, just kids, he's an absolute stud. Suntarine Perkins, amazing player. Trinidad Chambliss plays up to the number one quarterback in college football. Like, genuinely, he does. Dude, this team they kept a lot of this talent, and they should be happy with that. I mean, it's a bummer you lost Lane, but for what they did after he left and all the talent they kept, I think that's a huge story and a really big win for them. Like I said, Trinidad, I mean, he led this offense last year, took over for Austin Simmons after coming in for a few games, transferred from Ferris State. He was probably the biggest story of the offseason last year, it felt like. Pete Golding, really, really smart defensive mind. We covered all the guys that I had notable players in all our videos. I mean, Kejuan feels like a video game player, bro, with joystick level jukes. I mean, he crazy speed. Will Eccles is just a freak at edge or defensive tackle who could be the number one defensive tackle in the draft. Suntarine Perkins feels a little undersized for edge, but kind of as that like edge linebacker hybrid is still an amazing player. My breakout for them on offense is wide receiver Deuce Alexander. He went 44 for 68 last year, 684 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 71.7 grade. He already kind of broke out for them in a sense because those are amazing stats. But I think he can have 1,000 yards, 5-6 touchdowns. So still add a ton of production and be their wide receiver one. And then my defensive player my breakout on defense is edge transfer from Nevada, Jonathan Maldonado. He had a 78.1 grade, 7 sacks, 29 hurries, and 5 batted balls. I mean, 5 batted balls, 29 hurries, 7 sacks. I just think he's, outside of Suntarine Perkins, they lost. Bro, I always forget the guy that went to LSU. Who's their
Princewell,
other big edge player?
Emmanuel
Yeah,
Allen.
they lost Princewell. I think he slots in for him. Kind of helps again get pressures along with Eccles and Perkins. And I mean, Pete Golding gets a lot of these defensive-minded players right, or these defensive players right. So I definitely think Maldonado could be really, really good for them as kind of like a key transfer piece for them.
Yeah.
But what did you think about Ole Miss? Because dude, despite nearly going to the Natty, their line is set at 7.5 wins. So
Yep.
some people think that's very disrespectful. Some people might think that's justified, and I'm really interested to see what you think because I could see us disagreeing here on potentially the over under.
I definitely could see it as well. I do understand why the line is low. This schedule is not.
Yeah, they play the schedule from hell, bro.
Charlotte and Wofford are free wins, but other than that,
Yep.
any of these teams could beat them. So that I understand why their line is set at 7.5. They are playing in the SEC. There's always room for a crazy season where they suck or like they have a great talent, but they just for some reason cannot put it all together. We saw that with Clemson in the ACC, and that wasn't even a good conference.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, man, I do like that Pete Golding is back because he knows the system. He was already in the system, so there isn't really much change there other than the head coach is different. 13-2 last year, almost went to the Natty, like you said, 91.1 team grade. Just a great team overall last year, and they retained a lot of that. They lose Daquan Wright, Trey Wallace III, Diego Pounds, Dejon Stribling, Jaden Williams, and then a few players to the transfer portal. But overall, man, this is almost the same team. Like this is a very, very similar team. You bring in wide receiver Darrell Gill Jr. and Jonte Cook II to add a little bit of depth at wide receiver room. You also add tackle Tommy Kinsler IV, defensive interior Makai Aboriu. Was that your breakout player? Or who was your breakout player on defense?
Jonathan Maldonado.
Oh, Jonathan Maldonado. Never mind. And then they also bring in linebacker Keaton Thomas, corner Jalen Crawford, and then safeties Edwin Joseph and Jonel Aguero, along with defensive back Sheriff Denson. I think they actually improved their secondary. I really like what they did in the wide receiver room. They add some more talent there. My breakout player is wide receiver Caleb Cunningham, 6'1", 210 pounds, former 4-star recruit, played 2 snaps last season. He was kind of buried, but in the 2 snaps he played, he had 1 catch for 19 yards. So he made do with the snaps he got. But yeah, I mean, former 4-star, I just think he has the skills. He just got buried last year. I think he's going to get a little bit more playing time this year. And there's really no room but up for him. So
yeah, for sure.
I feel like it's a pretty safe pick. And then on defense, edge Cam Franklin is my breakout player. Junior, 6'5", 295 pounds, so he's huge.
Damn, that's a defensive tackle, bro.
Yeah, he might transition to D-tackle, but 71.2 grade in 2025. He had 702 snaps. He had 5 sacks, 37 hurries, a forced fumble, a PBU.
Damn.
My biggest thing is I just think he's going to jump up nationally. I think he could be a pretty pick in this draft. Not that he's breaking out potentially just for this team, but I just think he'll.
No, that makes sense.
Really, really like Cam Franklin, and then wide receiver Caleb Cunningham as well. I think he's got potential. But, man, I do understand why this line is low because this is like you said, this schedule is horrible. Charlotte and Wofford, free wins. But I trust the quarterback situation. I trust the running back situation. I think their wide receiver room is serviceable. I think their defense is good. I'm going to take the over. This is kind of a Oklahoma-Georgia situation where not necessarily the coach. But even Pete Golding, I have faith in because he's already been in the system. And then you also have a top 3 quarterback in the country. You have, in my opinion, the best running back in the country. You have one of the best defensive tackles in the country. You have a really solid defense, solid receiver. I think Deuce Alexander is going to be great. Like you said, I think he have 1,000 yards. I'm going to take the over. I trust this team too much. This roster is good. I think they're going to go 8-4 just because the schedule's so hard. If their schedule wasn't so hard, I could easily see them being 9-3, 10-2, just with this roster.
Yeah.
But this schedule is really, really tough. So for that reason, I'm going to still take the over, but it'll be a lot closer. But I'm interested to hear what you have to say because you said we might disagree on this. So
yeah, I just think this is a tough line. This is a hard schedule. I mean, even their toss-up games, it's like teams that we all both kind of like Mississippi State, Auburn, Missouri, Florida. Like we all thought these were good teams. I think that a lot of this team's success can be attributed to Lane Kiffin, and I'm taking their under.
Okay.
This is a super talented team. I just think that, listen, I'm taking a lot of overs for these teams. It kind of got to a point where I'm like, one of these teams has to kind of falter.
Yeah.
And this team has all the talent in the world. I'm a little skeptical on their coaching. I think in the SEC, like, man, Kiffin's amazing. And it feels like Ole Miss still, throughout the years, has been not even like that top tier of SEC teams. So you lose him, and it's like, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie too. I'm also not like the biggest Trinidad fan. I still think he's really good, and I understand the talent. But like, I think that with the play calling going down, I think he could falter a little bit. I just think like 7-5. And the funny thing is that's not even like a bad, with how hard their schedule is. That's not even that bad. Like they're still a good team, dude. If they had like a Texas A&M schedule, they're going like 10-2, like easily. It's just they have a hard schedule. Like they don't get the easiest. The fact that the easiest game they get is like Vanderbilt or like Auburn. I mean, like, or Louisville. Like, dude, that's the top team in the ACC in Louisville. Auburn and Vanderbilt. I mean, Vanderbilt, like, yes, are they great? Not really. But like Auburn still has talent. Like all these teams, dude. It's like, for me, it's just like, I don't know. I could see them losing, so I'm taking their under. I think they lose a lot of these games, and I don't see them beating any of the top talent in the SEC. I just think all of them are either more talented and then better coached, or both. So that's just kind of where I'm at with Ole Miss.
Yeah, that's fair. I could see them going under. It's very close. This is a tough line.
Yeah, it really is.
7.5 is very tough for their schedule, but yeah, I'm gonna stick with my over. You're gonna stick with your under. We disagree again, so that's good.
Only 2 times, bro.
Only 2 times.
Crazy. Hopefully there's some more.
Yeah.
So this could be one, because I think this next team, South Carolina, especially since I'm kind of a fan of this team, 6.5 wins for them. Notable players are edge Dylan Stewart, tackle Jacarius Peak, and wide receiver Nick Harbor. Coach Shane Beamer is probably on the hottest seat in SEC, maybe even college football, because they had like a top 5 defense in 2024, and still missed the playoffs. And then last year they were just horrendous, and it feels like they had all the talent in the world with Dylan Stewart and Lenora Sellers, specifically their quarterback, and they just were horrible. So he kind of needs to bounce back this year. And just said his name, quarterback Lenora Sellers. I mean, this is like it's like Byron Brown, but he's already good in the SEC. To be honest, like, he's just as freaky. I think he's bigger. I think he's like an inch taller than Byron Brown and like 5 pounds heavier, which is insane to say. Like, dude, he single-handedly carried this offense in that 2024 run. I mean, like, you look at the game against Clemson, bro. Like, that last play, I remember exactly where I was watching it, where he runs it in.
Yep.
I mean, he's insane. If you let him break containment, like, dude, first down. It's a first down. And
100%.
His passing's very inconsistent, but this is one of the best arms in college football. He can make really any play on the field that he wants to, especially paired with the scrambling ability. And it's like, dude, he's just a freak.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of a roller coaster with Lenoris, to be honest. I think we talked about in our quarterback video, but he's just very inconsistent, and they got to work on that. But to be honest, they don't really have like elite wide receiver talent, but Nick Harbor's been getting consistently better every year. So that's why I kind of highlighted him, because, I mean, freak athlete, everyone knows that. Probably one of the fastest, if not the fastest player in college football, and then elite size. Yep. He has a chance to go off this year. Jacarius Peak, obviously elite tackle, transfer from NC State. Unfortunately, tore his ACL in December. Apparently, he's going to be ready for the start of the season. I don't know how.
No idea how that's possible, but
that they're hoping, and they need him. So hopefully,
I mean, if they get him back, that'd be huge.
Yeah, it would be absolutely massive. And then Dylan Stewart, I mean, go watch our breakdown of him in the Edge video, because all I can really say for him is, dude, he has the potential to be the best defensive player in the NFL. Like
not crazy.
Genuinely. And this is my hot take. He might be better than Jeremiah Smith. Like I might have him as my number 1 player. I'm not gonna lie.
Wow.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. And I'm so serious. He has abilities at edge that I have never seen before. I haven't seen it in the NFL. I have not seen it in college. The way he moves, the speed he has.
Okay,
dude,
I can respect his take. Just know it's going on Instagram.
No, it's fine. I know it's a hot take, bro. Dylan Stewart, genuine. The way I look at it is Jeremiah Smith is an unbelievable player. Don't get me wrong. And if he's still my number 1 player, it's like it would not surprise me. I think Dylan Stewart is like 3 years into the NFL depoy. Like, I could see it. And it's not surprising to me. I don't know if I'm there at Jeremiah Smith. Like, the level, like, the way I see it is, could Dylan Stewart play at a Myles Garrett level? I think yes. Could Jeremiah Smith replicate like a Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase season? I think so, but not as easily. I think Dylan Stewart is, I don't know. I've never seen the speed and burst he has.
Yeah,
from an edge prospect ever.
I mean, there's a reason why we took Dylan Stewart to the Browns in our mock draft. I mean, he's Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
pretty much.
Dude,
Smaller, but
like genuinely, David Bailey went number 2 overall because of his first step. Dylan Stewart's first step is like tiers better.
mm-hmm. No, I
His
agree.
burst is infinitely better. He's literally a bigger, lengthier, stronger, younger, faster David Bailey, and David Bailey just went 2 overall. And I love David Bailey. I'm not even trying to hate on him. He's an amazing player, and he's going to be a great NFL player. Dylan Stewart he's next level. And that's the caliber of player that South Carolina has on defense. And
I mean, I completely agree with you on Dylan Stewart's skill. I think he's going to be a top tier NFL player. I don't know if I think I'm going to respectfully disagree with you on better than Jeremiah Smith.
No,
I see it. I understand. I think he's probably a top 3 player in this class. Like, just if you take out positional value, like, which his is still pretty high, but like taking out quarterbacks, I think he probably is 2 or 3. But yeah, very, 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 very good player. Extremely good.
And I mean, the funny thing is he's been like injured virtually all his career, and he's still been this good, which is insane. Like, if he gets healthy this year, it's just nuts. But my breakout player on offense for them, kind of the same conversation around Ja'Carri's Peak. It's East Carolina transfer guard Emmanuel Poku. He had 1,800 snaps in the last 2 years at a guard, and in 2025 he had a 63 grade. Bro, the offensive line was atrocious. It was like the worst in the SEC by far. It was probably one of the worst in college football. It was horrible. And I kind of have like another player as well, a true freshman 5-star, the 15th player center, Darius Gray. Dude, they just need one of these guys to break out for them. Like, they need, like, optimally, Ja'Carri's Peak, Poku, and Darius Gray all break out for them. But, like, dude, they just need, like, one side of this line to be, like, decent. So, like, Lenoris is fine. This running game can get going. Because they were fine last year, and this O-line was in the depths of hell. And my breakout player on defense is true freshman edge Julian Walker, 4-star 40th player. Bro, I just think Dylan Stewart's going to genuinely be getting triple teamed. And then this kid is also just a freak. I think he could eat just opposite of Dylan Stewart. I mean, that's how good Dylan Stewart is. But, I mean, when you're 40th player, I mean, that's virtually like a 5-star. I just think he could be a menace on this line. And, bro, maybe he's like Dylan Stewart was a 5-star too. Obviously he was a higher caliber of prospect. But I'm not saying this could be the next Dylan Stewart by any means, but he could be a very, very good player in Julian Walker. But what did you think about South Carolina? And sorry, I know I yapped about Stewart, but bro,
no, you're good.
It's warranted.
It's warranted. I quite enjoyed the app. So, but yeah, I actually, outside of the coaching situation, I like this team. I don't know how much I trust Shane Beamer, but South Carolina, man, they have talent left and right. If they can fix that O-line, I seriously think they could be contenders in this conference. I know that might be crazy, but like, this might be a kind of a cop-out, but my offensive breakout player is Nick Harbor because
that's not crazy. He could go off.
I feel like he's bound for 1,000 yards, bro. He's bound for it. And when you have Lenore Sellers, who's been getting better and better, and I think the world of Lenore Sellers, I think he could be a top 5 pick in this draft. Dude, Nick Harbor, if that offensive line is serviceable, Nick Harbor will beat the corner. He will beat the corner, and he will get open, and he will get 1,000 yards. Like, I feel like it's inevitable. And for that reason, I'm picking him. And he's 6'5", 239 pounds. 239 pounds as a wide receiver.
Even if he doesn't beat you with his 4.2 speed, he's just going to destroy you at the catch point at 240, 6'5".
Well, and as I mentioned, this dude is a track star. He runs the 100-meter.
Yeah.
Bro, he's super fast. He is super, has great vertical ability.
Let me look up one thing. Really, keep going.
Yeah, the only reason he has not been productive, in my opinion, is he just hasn't got his technique together completely, and he also has had a horrible O-line for his entire career. What did you look up?
So, wait, so there's a very, very popular New York Times writer, Bruce Feldman. He very annually releases Feldman's Freak List, where he talks about the 101 freakiest players in college football.
Nick Harbor's number 1.
I was wondering if Nick Harbor was on it. And because he kind of lists some of the reasons why. So, like, for O-linemen, he'll be like, this guy had a 600-pound bench or whatever, and that's why he's number whatever. So I was curious to see where he was on Feldman's Freak List, because it's kind of like the number. Immediately, Nick Harbor tops a list of 101. He's number 1. So let's see. 6'6", 243. So he's
He's
5 pounds heavier than we thought. He's an inch, dude, 35-inch arms, an 82.5-inch wingspan, ran a 10-1 in the 100, a 20.2 in the 200. He's competing in the NCAA against runners 60 and 70 pounds lighter than him. Dude, yeah, so Harbor is weighing in at this off season, so this must have been before he put on like 10 pounds, 235, topped out a 23.8 mile per hour on the GPS. Almost 24 miles per hour on the GPS. Dude, in the NFL, wasn't there only like 8 guys in the NFL that hit over 22? I thought there was like 10 guys that hit over. Dude, he hit almost 24.
And like, granted, that's like on field with a ball, but like, dude, still.
Yeah, that's fair. And just casually 5% body fat. Like, I think the average bodybuilder is at like 4.5.
Yeah.
No, like, yeah, just totally. Number 2 is Jeremiah Smith, to be fair. That's what we're saying, is that this guy is freakier than Jeremiah Smith, which feels like that should be illegal to say.
He is.
And he is. He like genuinely, like, that is not
freakier, but the reason why Jeremiah Smith is so much better is because his technique is insane. And he is so good at route running. He is so good with his hands. If Nick Harbor could put it together this offseason, fix his route running, fix his hands, and the offensive line could improve, I think this dude easily goes 1,000 yards. Easily.
Oh, 100%.
I don't even think it, like, dude, he's going to manhandle every corner.
Yeah.
Like, as a corner, how do you even guard that, dude? How do you guard a 24-mile-an-hour sprinter who is 6'6", 240 pounds?
Yeah.
Anyway, I can't hear you, bro.
Here, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, sorry. My AirPods just died. I was saying he was number 3 in 2025, by the way, on Feldman's freak list.
It's ridiculous, bro.
So, yeah, this kid's a freak. And it's funny because it's like there's a pretty easy to make argument that they have the number 1 most athletic player on offense and the number 1 most athletic player on defense. And they could genuinely still go like 4-8.
Yeah, they could.
No, they could. That's what I'm like.
Yeah.
So,
like, realistically.
Yeah.
Enough with the Nick Harbor glaze, I guess. But, yeah, he's my offensive breakout player.
Yeah.
And then on defense, wow, we just glazed Nick Harbor and Dylan Stewart for like 6 minutes.
Bro, I mean, they're 2 of the best athletes.
They are.
Like,
100%.
It's not even crazy.
But on defense, my breakout player is cornerback Quashid Scott. So this was another corner I was talking about. He's 5'11", 208 pounds. He's a transfer from Kentucky.
Damn, big boy.
Played 488 snaps last season, had a 74.4 grade, 1 interception, 4 PBUs, and only allowed 186 yards and a touchdown. He just needs to improve his tackling, honestly. And I think he could be a very, very solid corner. And we've seen what South Carolina does with their DBs. So I would not be surprised if this dude is good, especially with, like, you were talking about how who's your breakout player? What's his name? I forgot.
For who?
For South Carolina.
Defense?
Yeah,
defense or offense? Julian Walker, edge.
Julian Walker. So were you talking about how Dylan Stewart could make Julian Walker look really, really good on the other side because
essentially, and while also just being good too, yeah.
Right. While also just being good, but like pass rush is the key to good corners, and I just think with this good pass rush, I think Quashid Scott could be really, really good. But yeah, Quashid Scott for defense, Nick Harbor for offense. But for this team, South Carolina, I actually really like their schedule for the SEC. I think their schedule is favorable. Outside of Shane Beamer, and granted that's a big outside of because Shane Beamer's the coach, and the coach is very, very, very important for the team's success. I like South Carolina's chances at this over. I'm going to take the over, actually. I think when I was counting, I think there's 7 very winnable games, and I think they can upset a team. So my hot take is I'm going to say South Carolina takes this over, which maybe saves Shane Beamer his job, which I don't know if that's good or not. But, yeah, I just think there's so much talent with Lenora Sellers, Nick Harbor, and Dylan Stewart. If Jacarius Peak is healthy, if an O-lineman can break out, they just need something on the O-line, and this team can win 8 games or 7 games.
Yeah.
But, yeah, for those reasons, I'm going to take the over. I'm interested to hear what you have to say because you're kind of a South Carolina fan yourself. So
yeah, they're probably, I would say, my 3rd favorite college football team. I just like a lot of players that come out of there, to be honest.
Yeah.
I have them going over. I have them going 7-5. And I think this team, I like kind of like you, they're really, really sneaky because, like, all it really takes, and I feel like these aren't even, like, there's a lot of ifs here. Some of them aren't that bad, though. It's like, okay, if Dylan Stewart plays the season fully healthy, not that crazy, and then, like, Poku, Darius Gray, and Jacarius Peak all just play at like an average level. I'm not even asking them to be elite, just average level. And then Nick Harbor and Lenore Sellers just take steps in the right direction. dude, this is like one of the best teams in the SEC. Like actually,
Yeah,
like
I agree.
and just if they follow that path I laid out, and yes, like some of these things are easier said than done. Like Stewart probably will be injured a little bit, banged up a little bit. Like Harbor, Sellers, one of them could regress. But dude, like the level of athletes and just insane players they have on this team, it's like, dude, if it clicks, they're gonna be a problem and they're gonna upset teams. And
100%.
Lenora Sellers himself is gonna lead an upset this season. Like I almost guarantee it.
Yep.
I mean, like all it takes is for him to have a lights out game and then Dylan Stewart to be the finisher. And Jesus, if we know anybody can be a finisher, it's Dylan Stewart. I mean, he's going to get to the quarterback in like a second, dude.
Yeah.
Like this team, I think can go over, and I have them going 7-5. And dude, 8-9 seasons not crazy to me. It's not. I think a lot does rely on the coaching though. But they showed that they can virtually be on the cusp of the college football playoff not even 2 years ago with same quarterback, a lot of the same players in general. So I think they can do it again, honestly. It wouldn't be that surprising to me. But yeah, moving on to Tennessee. Their line set at 7.5 wins. Notable players for me are running back Deshaun Bishop and guard Wendell Moe Jr. Coach Josh Heupel is honestly probably the key reason that Tennessee's been a pretty consistently good team in the SEC. At least with the offense he runs, it's a very, very good offense for the college level and produces some very, very freaky productive players at running back and wide receiver. Their quarterback room is kind of a mess because I think they expected Joey Aguilar to get another year of eligibility, but he got shot down. So now they're running with true freshman Faison Brandon, which, to be fair, he was a 5-star, the 10th player in this class. So obviously very, very talented. But this offense still feels like you need somebody who can be a very, very cool and collected threat at quarterback. So to have a true freshman leading it is a little shaky. But
currently their depth chart has George McIntyre as their starter.
From what I've heard, he's not.
I would doubt it, but yeah.
Because I think he was like a 3-star, and he literally only has an extra year of experience. But I will say, even if it is him, it's like not that much of a difference. I think he brings a little more floor, but Faison Brandon at least has a ridiculous ceiling to be tapped into. But my breakout offensive player is kind of like Michael Fasusi. He was a 5-star in the 2025 class, so a true freshman. He was the 6th overall player, actually one spot behind him. David Sanders, he's a tackle. He had 480 snaps, so he wasn't a full-time starter like Fasusi, probably not as good as Fasusi, but still at a 69.9 grade. This is another guy who's going to be a really highly drafted O-lineman from Tennessee in a few years, and I think he could break out and be like a key piece on this O-line, if not easily the best piece on this O-line this year, is David Sanders. And then, man, kind of like we're talking about with some of these teams and the wells they have at certain positions. At defense, I have corner Ty Redmond as a true freshman. He had 783 snaps, was pretty much a full-time starter for them, 79.4 grade, almost an 80 grade as a true freshman. 45 for 76 receptions to targets, 501 yards, did allow 5 touchdowns, but had 3 interceptions on 9 PBUs. Those are pretty good stats for corner. This is another guy, corner, elite corner.
Absolutely.
First-round talent all over him. And, I mean, we're talking about Tennessee always feels to have pretty damn good corners. I mean, literally just this last draft, talent-wise, they had Colton Hood. They had Jermon McCoy. Obviously, he fell because of his injury, but talent-wise, I mean, we didn't really like him. But bro, everyone else had like a top 15 grade all over him. So
and
I'm tapping into that.
Even with us not liking him, we said without his injury, he's a top 2-round player. That was not liking him, which is crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
We had him going late 2nd round.
Yeah, but I'm just kind of tapping into that well. Tennessee corners feel like they're always pretty solid. So those are my 2 players. And what do you think about Tennessee? Because it feels like this is an interesting year with their quarterback situation. I'm very interested to see how this works out.
Very interesting. With that new news that I didn't know coming into this if it was going to be George McIntyre or Faison Brandon, but that's good to know. Faison Brandon is probably going to be the starter. And yeah, he's a 5-star. He has the talent. Could definitely see him like really, really breaking out this year. It's possible. But my breakout player on offense is wide receiver TK Keys, and he is a 5-star recruit, 6'2", 195 pounds, number 1 wide receiver nationally, and the 12th overall player in the 2026 class, 18 years old. I mean, you were just saying, like, Josh Heupel always figures out a way to make these freaky wide receivers work. I would not be surprised if TK Keys is their starting wide receiver as a freshman. That would not surprise me.
Okay.
On defense, I'm going to go with edge Jordan Norman, 6'4", 265 pounds, played 448 snaps for Tulane last season, had 6 sacks, 25 tackles, and a 71.8 grade, 73.4 pass rush grade. He's taking over for Joshua Josephs, and Joshua Josephs was super, super productive for Tennessee. So I'm going to throw Jordan Norman. I almost said Josh Norman. Jordan Norman in for my defensive breakout player. So yeah, Tay Keys and Jordan Norman. And then this over-under line, 7.5. I don't know. I kind of flirt with this one because I feel like they have very, very talented roster, but I don't know about their quarterback situation. And even last season with a guaranteed quarterback situation, they went 8-5. So it's like they barely went over that. And on top of that, this schedule, other than like the first 3 games, is not particularly easy. We were both high on South Carolina. I think Kentucky could be feisty. Arkansas is probably a win. So like Furman, I think Georgia Tech could be feisty too. Furman, Kennesaw State, and Arkansas, I think, are 3 free wins. I think they probably can beat Vanderbilt. I think they can beat Kentucky. That's 5. But then you got to muster 3 more out of that. 3 more wins.
Yeah.
That's going to be tough to do, man. And 5. Just because I'm not completely sure on their quarterback situation yet. Maybe Faison Brandon will be like insane and he'll immediately jump to his ceiling and Tennessee will be a great team. Just because I think highly of Tay Keys and I think this defense will be solid. But yeah, I don't know. There's something in my gut telling me that this is kind of going to be a rebuild, not a rebuild year, but kind of a regrouping.
Just a down year.
Regrouping season. Getting Faison Brandon where they want him to be development-wise. I think he's going to take a year or 2 to develop, so I don't expect him to be amazing this year. I expect him to be serviceable, but not amazing. And I would say Tennessee's going to go 7-5, and I still think that's a pretty solid season for them because, like I said, they're regrouping. But interested to hear what you have to say and where you have them.
So I am taking the under with you. I think there's 2 things. For me, it's the quarterback room. I think this offense, which is consistently this team's strength, needs at least an experienced quarterback to run it. And
I would agree.
I'm a little skeptical on that. And then also, man, their pass rush. I know you're a breakout guy, hopefully contributes to the pass rush. But, dude, they were expecting Chaz Coleman, the number 2 overall player in the transfer portal, to come to them from Penn State. And I don't know exactly what happened. He transferred over and he was, like, homesick. He's not on the team anymore, though. He left for whatever reason. I think it was homesick or he wasn't jiving with the team or something. But that's a huge player they lost who just isn't on this team anymore. And I think their pass rush is kind of lacking. I think their quarterback room is lacking. And, lacking in quarterback room and pass rush, those are debatably like 2 of the most biggest. Yeah, I honestly, it feels like nowadays the 2 things you kind of need, it's your quarterback room to be good, your pass rush to be good, and then I would say probably your coverage to be adequate. But yeah, it just feels like they're really lacking in those 2. So I'm going to take the under. I'm having them going 7-5. Yeah. I think it's just going to be a down year for them. And next year, they can probably get right back at it. Deshaun Bishop's an amazing player. David Sanders is going to be an amazing player. Ty Redmond's going to be an amazing player. Heupel's a good enough coach. I just think Faison Brandon's first year, it's hard for me to say that they come in and beat a lot of these teams that I just feel like have a higher floor. So, yeah. That's Tennessee. Moving to Texas, their line is set at 9.5 wins. Notable players for me, they have a ton. This is definitely debatably the most talented team in college football. Edge Colin Simmons, a potential top 5 pick. Tackle Trevor Gooseby, the potential top tackle pick next year. A wide receiver Cam Coleman probably will be the 2nd wide receiver off the board. Linebacker Rasheem Biles. I mean, he's a freak of nature. Wide receiver Ryan Wingo. It feels like the list just goes on in terms of notable players for them. Coach Steve Sarkisian is a pretty good offensive coach. Obviously, a really, really good recruiter. Brings a lot of these guys into the transfer portal. He seems to understand the transfer portal to a T. Quarterback Arch Manning. I mean, I see the talent. I'm not as high on as other people, but I mean, people have him going 1st overall. That's the ceiling this kid has. Obviously, he is relations to Eli and Peyton Manning, being part of that Manning family, and is a crazy dual threat and a ridiculous athlete as well. And yeah, Texas is just, dude, they were already really talented. They were already really, really good. And then they brought in, I mean, they had, I think, the best recruiting or portal class. Maybe LSU beat them, but I think it was either 1 or 2 for sure. And my breakout wide receiver for them will be their wide receiver 3, if I had to guess. Emmett Mosley. He had 28 for 48, receptions to targets, 408 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 71.7 grade. He had an 88.6 drop grade, 0 drops on the season off of 48 targets. And honestly, I just think he's going to become like a super reliable wide receiver 3 for Arch Manning, maybe in kind of like third down, must pass situations for them. And then speak of the devil, another elite cornerback from in his freshman year, Grayson Littleton, my breakout defensive player. He was a 4-star, the 65th player in the 2025 class last year, essentially a 5-star in my eyes, 70.6 grade, 42 receptions off of 63 targets, 424 yards, allowed 0 touchdowns, and had 2 interceptions and 3 PBUs. Dude, it just feels like this cornerback well is just deeper and deeper in the SEC, man. It's ridiculous. But what did you think about Texas? Because it feels like, I mean, dude, they have Hollywood Smothers, Raleek Brown. I didn't even mention those 2 guys, and they were both in our running back video. Like, this list just goes on in terms of talented players for them. And what did you think about this Texas team, man?
I mean, yeah, Steve Sarkisian did a great job in this transfer portal, added a ton of talent. I mean, Cam Coleman by himself was an excellent pickup to add with Ryan Wingo. And then on top of that, you also add in, offensive lineman Lawrence Seymour, Melvin Siani, like you said, running backs Hollywood Smothers and Raleek Brown, nose tackle Ian Gefford, linebacker Rasheem Biles, corner Bo Masco, 4-star linebacker Tyler Atkinson. I mean, he did a great job. Very, very good. My breakout player on offense is also Emmett Mosley, which is kind of funny.
Okay, cool.
Because I just feel like with Ryan Wingo and Cam Coleman taking the corner 1 and 2, like, dude, Emmett Mosley
is going to be unguarded.
He's going to eat.
There's just going to be no one in front of him, bro.
Yeah, and I think he's already pretty solid, and then you pair him with 2 of the best receivers in the country, and that's a recipe for success. So, yeah, Emmett Mosley, that's my offensive breakout player. We did not go for 2 for 2 on this one, which is probably good. But it is a corner. I did pick a corner.
Okay.
Corner Cade Phillips. He is a sophomore. Played 256 snaps last season as a true freshman. Had 4 PBUs on 161 coverage snaps. And allowed 13 of his 22 targets to be completed for under 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. So definitely need to fix the touchdown number. But, I mean, only allowed 96 yards on 13 receptions.
Wait, so they had 2 elite freshman corners, yes?
Yep. 2 elite freshman corners.
Dude, I know they have the number 1 corner recruit in the 2027 class in John Meredith, too.
Yep.
Nice. All right. That's just Texas's DB room. Yeah, sorry, continue. I just wanted to make that point. That's insane.
So Texas has an elite defense, very good offense. I mean, for my notable players, this was my only team with 3 rows in my notebook. I put Cam Coleman, Ryan Wingo, Arch Manning, Trevor Gooseby, Hollywood Smothers, Colin Simmons, and Rasheem Biles, all as notable players for Texas. I mean, yeah, they lost talent in the offseason. They lost Malik Muhammad, Anthony Hill, Trey Moore, Michael Toff, DJ Campbell, Jack Endries, Cole Brevard. A few guys to the transfer portal, such as Parker Livingston and CJ Baxter. But, dude, this team got better. Let's be honest with ourselves.
Yeah.
This team got better.
And none of those guys were, like, elite players.
And none of those guys were, like, elite, like some of the guys I just mentioned. And last season, they went 10-3, dude. Like, there is absolutely no reason. I guess I haven't completely looked at their schedule yet, but I mean, without even looking, I'm going to take the over on 9.5. I think Texas has the potential to go 12-0 with this roster. Yeah, they play Ohio State, so that's going to be really tough, and LSU. So those would be the 2 games that I would be very, very worried about. But even then, I think they can win one of those maybe, and they have an extra game to lose, and they have Arkansas on the schedule. They have UTSA, Texas State. I think they beat Tennessee. They beat Florida. They beat Missouri. They beat Ole Miss. I think they go 10-2 would be my guess. And I think they could even go 11-1. They have the ceiling of 12-0, but with the schedule, there is some tough competition on here. So I wouldn't probably put them at 12-0. But 10-2 to 11-1, I think is definitely possible. I like Arch Manning a little bit more than you. I think. I just think his athleticism is great. I think he'll get better this season with an elite wide receiver core, with a good running back, great offensive line. He honestly has no excuse not to be great.
No, he doesn't.
And then their defense is great. Colin Simmons, potential top 10 pick. You have an elite DB room, like we were just saying. Cade Phillips. I forgot the other guy. Who's the guy you said as your breakout player?
Oh, Grayson Littleton.
Grayson Littleton. and then you also add in their 2027 recruit. Like, dude, this DB room is nuts. And then you also add in Rasheem Biles at linebacker. You add in 4-star Tyler Atkinson. You add in nose tackle Ian Grefford. Like, dude, this team is going to go over the win total. I would be floored if they didn't. I think LSU and Ohio State are the only teams that they really struggle with, and I think they beat at least one of them. And I'm going to take the over on 9.5. Interested to hear what you have to say, though, because I assume you probably view them the same as me, but we'll see.
No, I do not. I'm taking the under.
You're taking the under? Okay.
This is probably one of my hotter takes. I mean, I guess it's not that hot because it's literally just an over or under win line. Like, the line's set there for a reason.
Yeah.
But I just feel like, yeah, I'm like the only person that's not like unbelievably high on Texas this year. Man, dude, this team, it feels like every year we talk about how good they are and they never made expectations. Like, honestly, it feels like like last year they lost to Florida and they missed the college football playoff. And everyone was like, there's no reason they don't make the college football playoff. And now this year is like, oh my God, they're so yeah, I know they're talented. You're right. They are probably a top 5 talented team. For whatever reason, this team just doesn't get it done. And until they win these big games, like, yeah, dude, they're going to get beat by Ohio State this year again. I'm going to need to see it to believe it. But right now, I'm thinking in my head, yeah, you lose to Ohio State, you lose to LSU, and then I think you lose to one of Oklahoma or Ole Miss. I think you lost to Florida last year. It's not crazy you do it again this year. You lost, I'm like Mississippi State. I mean, they're an intriguing team, like we said, upset-wise. Missouri, that's an intriguing team, upset-wise. Texas A&M, that's a rivalry game. You never know what happens there. They're still a really good team. Like, dude, there's just this schedule being hard, paired with Arch Manning being very hot and cold. I mean, they could lose to Tennessee. That's not like a free win either, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably is with Faison Brandon starting, but like, no, that's kind of what I'm saying. And then I think that some of these wins that are viewed as more favorable that they should win are like some of the harder group of them. Like, you're not getting like Kentucky on this schedule. You're not getting like some of these teams a lot of people are a lot lower on, like Vandy. Like, no, you're facing some of the teams that we're higher on in this conference as kind of those mid-tier teams. And I just think you lose the 2 big games and then you probably drop one. That's just kind of what I think. Fair. But I'm not denying the talent of this team. Their ceiling is 11-1. They definitely could be like LSU. I don't think they beat Ohio State, but they could beat LSU and beat everyone else. But dude, my floor for them is 6-6. Like, I legitimately think they could fall apart. I think you could lose to Ohio State, LSU, Oklahoma, Ole Miss. That's 4 right there. And then all it would take is for you to drop 2 of Missouri, A&M, Florida, Tennessee, and Mississippi State, and that's not that crazy to me. I still have serious questions about Arch Manning. I like him. I see the ceiling, but he has to play way more consistent. I mean, just to be honest, like, this gauntlet of a schedule can't be losing to Florida this year, bro.
No,
you just can't
not.
be.
No.
So this will be interesting to watch because this is a team that could literally win the Natty and like make me look like an absolute idiot. But
or they could go 6-6 like you're saying and make me look like an
idiot. They probably won't go 6-6. They'll probably realistically go 9-3 or 10-2 if I had to guess. But
I mean, there's a reason why the line is set 9.5 because it's very likely they'll go half a game under or half a game over. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on to the other big team in Texas, Texas A&M. Their line's set at 8.5 wins. Notable players for me are wide receiver Mario Craver, kind of a smaller, explosive firecracker type wide receiver who went off last year. I mean, like, he had like almost 200 yards against Notre Dame, I think. He had like 200 yards in another game. I mean, he had like 600 yards in like he had like 500 yards in the first like 3 or 4 games. It was unreal production. Quarterback Marcel Reed has his highs and lows. His highs, I really like him in, but his lows are like, dude, they're the reason like the season is ending and like you're almost losing to like horrible teams like South Carolina last year. It's like all Marcel Reed. It's kind of funny because like Marcel Reed as a player is actually perfectly summed up in the South Carolina game. Like the first half, it's like complete and utter dog shit and they're losing by like 30-0. And then the second half, it's like they're coming back and they're scoring like 30 something points in the second half. And it's like, bro, that's the duality of Marcel Reed right there.
Yeah. Very much so.
So he just needs to be a lot more consistent with his floor. Coach Mike Elko, elite recruiter. I don't know if you've seen their 2027 recruiting class.
Really
bro,
good.
I think they have like, dude, they have like 7 5-stars. And then they have like 10 top 50 players. Like, bro, what? You have like a fifth of the top 50? No, yeah, with like.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, there's like only like 60 or 70 teams you're competing with or something like that. Like, no.
Yeah, no problem.
You're good, bro. No problem. So I kind of question him on game day, but as a recruiter, dude, they're getting players. It's because of Elko. My breakout for them is Northwestern edge transfer Anto Saka. He had 72.7 grade, 4 sacks, 7 hits, and 9 hurries. I just think, man, they always have an elite presence on this D line. I think it probably should project as being him. It just feels like every year they have somebody wreaking havoc, and I just think it's going to be Anto Saka. I think that's why they went out and got him, and I think he's already been a pretty good player at Northwestern. And then my breakout player on offense is, I think, one of the most underrated players in the country. I'm very sad we did not talk about him in one of our videos. It is wide receiver transfer from Alabama, Isaiah Horton. He went 42 for 59, 511 yards, and 8 touchdowns with a 64.1 grade. Dude, this guy's a monster in the red zone. He's huge. He's an elite route runner. And in our loaded wide receiver room last year with an offense that had problems, he still produced. And I think he's going to be an insane wide receiver too. I mean, he was pretty much playing as our wide receiver one like all of last year. I mean, him and Latzi were just like swapping games as the wide receiver one, really, while kind of Ryan Williams was having an off year. But I think Isaiah Horton's going to be like really damn good this year. And I mean, he has top 50 talent in the draft written all over him, in my opinion. So, yeah, what did you think about Texas A&M? Because this is a team that went to the college football playoff last year and lost to Miami, which is obviously a very good team.
Yeah, and that was a game where Marcel Reed kind of had his down game again.
Yeah.
And Tamu not being able to score any points. But I am falling for the trap again because I kind of like this team. I really, really like what they did in the offseason. I like Mike Elko as a recruiter. I think they've brought in a lot of talent. And honestly, I don't mind their schedule like at all. I feel like their schedule is pretty manageable. We have the exact same breakout players again, so there's that.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Wow.
Isaiah Horton is my offensive, and Anto Saka is my defensive.
All right.
I just think Isaiah Horton is going to absolutely boost his draft stock this year. I feel like he's not really, like you said, he's not getting talked about really, and I feel like after this year, that is not going to be the case. Anto Saka taking over for, blanking on his name, went to the Bengals, Cassius Howell. I just think he's going to be super productive. He was great at Northwestern, and now he's on a defensive line that is going to be much better, going to support him a lot more. So Anto Saka is my defensive breakout player. Great size as well, 6'4", 255. But yeah, they add Isaiah Horton. They add 4 offensive linemen, Anto Saka, nose tackle CJ Mims, linebacker Ray Coney. Yes, they lose a ton of talent to the draft. Like, this was like their biggest draft class ever, I think. Like, it was like 11 players.
Not surprised. That makes sense, yeah.
Which is great for the program, but not great for the program at the same time because now they lose a bunch of players. But they did retain a lot of their big names. Other than like Casey Concepcion and Cassius Howell, honestly, I think they kind of kept most of their talent. Marcel Reed has his ups and downs. I think he's serviceable. Great rusher, good ground threat. Mario Craver and Isaiah Horton is, in my opinion, a top 5 duo in the nation. I don't think that's that crazy.
Dude, they might be like, who would compete with them? Because, like, even, like, I think about, like, Ohio State, but, like, their wide receiver 2 isn't really known right now. Like, this is a proven duo. We know both these teams are, like, good players. End of the season, it might be different.
I think Cam Coleman and Ryan Wingo has to be top 3, and I would say
they're better.
I mean,
like,
might be
Ryan Williams and, like, Latsier Brooks, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't think they're better.
They're up there. I don't personally think they're better, but they're top 5 probably. Oregon has and
whoever you want to put at the 2, it could be Iverson Hooks, it could be
anyone. But like, dude, this is easily a top 5 duo in the country. And I mean, Marcel Reed has shown that yes, he has his downs, but he can do it. Like, he can throw the ball, he can run.
Yeah.
He's gonna have 2 elite targets. And yeah, I don't know. Their schedule's so favorable. They have Missouri State. Arizona State is going to have a down year, in my opinion. Arkansas is a win. Citadel's a win. Tennessee, I think they beat. Missouri, I think they beat. Kentucky, they beat. I mean, that's what, I just named 6 wins right there, and then they just need to compete in 3 more games. I'm going to take the over. I think they're going to win 9 games. I think they're going to go 9-3. They were a CFP team last year. I can't really doubt them. Granted, yes, they have shown that they struggle sometimes with the worst teams, but they get it done. They went 11-2. Yes, they struggle against really, really good teams, but against the teams that aren't as great, I think they get the job done regardless of how they get there, I guess you could say.
For sure.
But I just trust the talent on this team. They've brought in so much talent in recruiting, in the transfer portal. I think this team goes 9-3, which even with their I think they would not meet this line if their schedule wasn't so easy. But the schedule mixed with their talent, I just think they're going to go over. This is still a regression for me from last year, but 9-3 is what I'm going to have Texas A&M sit at. Interested to hear what you have to say, though, because I could see you taking the under here. Definitely a case for that, but yeah.
Yeah, so with A&M, I'm taking the over with you. I have them going 9-3. I think they probably lose to Texas, Bama, and Oklahoma, or maybe LSU. But funnily enough, they're my other team that has the potential to go to 12-0. Because all the teams that are the top teams here, it's like, dude, Texas I'm a little lower on. Bama could be bad with their quarterback situation. Oklahoma, I mean, that would be a close game, but all you would have to do to go 12-0, upset an LSU team who we don't know is going to be good. Maybe they're not,
Right.
and then kind of beat an Oklahoma team and then beat Texas, in Bama. There's a world where they could go 12-0. But I have them realistically going 9-3. And yeah, kind of like you said, I just think they're well coached enough and talented enough that they're always going to be a force to be reckoned with. And
Right.
I just feel like they can get 9 wins again. Honestly, I do. You kept your quarterback. This wide receiver duo is elite. Your defense is going to be pretty solid. And honestly, they probably had a ridiculous freshman class. They'll probably have some crazy freshman breakout too for them.
Right.
So I just think they have pieces everywhere, man. And I can't really doubt them. I mean, they're up and coming, dude. They're only going to get better with their recruiting class being as nuts as it is. So,
Right.
I mean, yeah, I'm taking the over for them. And I will say, I think Marcel Reed's development is going to be a fascinating story this offseason because him and Keelan Russell are the two quarterbacks that I think of where it's bro, the entire season is make or break off of their development, low-key. If they do bad, their team will go 6-6 or 7-5. But if they win, I mean, we're talking about 11-1, 12-0 potential playoff because their ceilings are so high. But yeah, they're super intriguing to watch. And the last team in this conference that we'll be talking about today is Vanderbilt. Their line is set at 5.5 wins. Obviously, they've been a really big name in college football because of Diego Pavia, currently not on the team anymore after being released by the Ravens in minicamp. So I don't know if he's on another team anymore, but yeah, he was a very good college player, though. Notable players for me are wide receiver Junior Sherrill, who is getting buzz as potential first-round wide receiver in this next year's draft class. I've heard people love Junior Sherrill. Coach Clark Lee is a huge reason this team has been successful. Honestly, he's great at talent acquisition. He's great at talent development. And honestly, I think he just raises the floor of this team a ton with this coaching style. Talking about talent acquisition, quarterback to replace Diego Pavia. If you're a Vandy fan, you're probably a little bummed. You got true freshman 5-star, 4th overall player in this class, quarterback Jared Curtis coming in, who had monster stats in high school. And I know he was the number 1 quarterback. He decommitted from Georgia. He was originally committed to Georgia and got flipped to Vanderbilt. I think Diego Pavia and Clark Lee came together to convince him of that. And I think he's from Nashville. I think he's a hometown hero, this kid coming to Vanderbilt. So that's kind of a cool story. And
I do want to mention 24/7 has him as the 2nd overall player in the class.
Okay. Yeah, so he is viewed very, very high. I know he's a top guy on some sites.
Yeah.
Pretty much elite on all of them. But yeah, my breakout player for them on offense is running back Cedric Alexander, 567 yards, 5.5 yards per carry, 11 touchdowns, 2 fumbles, and a 74.2 grade. I just think that with Curtis being a true freshman, they're probably going to rely on the run game a lot. And I just think that he could go off and be one of the most productive running backs in the SEC, 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns again. And then speak of the devil, once again, my breakout player on defense, corner Jordan Matthews. Last year, 350 snaps, 80.1 grade, 15 receptions on 22 targets, 112 yards, 1 touchdown allowed, 2 PBUs. I just think he projects as their number 1 corner. I think, he's not as elite as some of these other guys, but I think he still is probably one of their better players on defense for them, Jordan Matthews. Agree. And yeah, Vandy, man, they're a very interesting team because I feel like they had some of the best years in program history these last 2, with huge upsets against Bama, notably. And a lot felt like that was Diego Pavia's doing, but I think a lot can be attributed to Clark Lee. And 5.5 wins is significantly lower than what they've done for the last 2 years. So how do you kind of feel about this line for them with Vanderbilt?
Yeah, I think it's set about right. You lose your starting quarterback.
Yeah, I'd agree.
You lose Eli Stowers, who is your biggest target in the receiving game.
Yep.
You lose a couple other key players. Wide receiver Trey Richardson enters the transfer portal. Linebacker / safety Fontenette is gone. Corner Trudell Berry is gone. So you lose some role players. I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, you maintain your coach, but whenever you get a quarterback change, there's always room for, a down season. And Jordan Curtis has all the talent in the world. I mean, he's my offensive breakout player for them, which might be a little bit of a cop out, but like I feel like he kind of has to step up into that role. He's dynamic, mobile. He's able to run if he needs to. He's able to pass if he needs to, at least in high school. Hopefully, he'll be able to transfer that over to college for Vanderbilt. But this dude's ceiling is way higher than Diego Pavia's, way higher. And I just think, like, if he is able to be better than Diego Pavia this year, Vanderbilt could continue to stay in the spotlight and they could
For sure.
continue to stay in the same area. I'm just a little bit more reluctant to immediately throw him in and have him be better than Diego Pavia, who, may I remind you, was actually a Heisman candidate. So, like, this
Yeah.
dude was a
Elite
great
college
college
player.
player, elite college player. So I would be very, very reluctant to say Jared Curtis is going to live up to that. Like I said, I do think his ceiling is maybe higher just because he's a very, very high recruit and has a lot of talent. But my defensive player for a breakout is safety Ricardo Jones, transfer from Clemson.
Okay.
Played 722 snaps last year, had 6 interceptions and 2 PBUs for Clemson, had 40 tackles, allowed 247 yards and 2 touchdowns on 42 targets. So it needs to improve his overall. He's kind of hit or miss in coverage. Very much a ball hawk, but if he is not able to ball hawk, he gives up chunk plays. So I just think he's going to grow a little bit as a player this year as he gets a little older, and it seems like Vanderbilt has a solid defense. So I think he'll be able to step in and pretty decent DB room. And then for this win total, 5.5, it is low. It's much lower than you would like if you're a Vanderbilt fan after going 10-3 last year. Again, I think it's warranted. This schedule is not bad. They have Austin
It's
Peay,
not.
Delaware, NC State. I think Auburn is beatable. Arkansas, they can win against. Kentucky's beatable. Mississippi State's beatable. Florida's beatable. Tennessee's beatable. I just named so many beatable teams. I'm going to take the over. As much as maybe Jared Curtis really, really struggles, they have a good running back, like you said. I think Cedric Alexander is proven. I think he can play.
No, for sure.
And he can get them on the board. He can keep them in games. I think their defense will be solid. Nickelback Martell Hurd, I like him. I have him as a key player. Edge Miles Capers, I think he's solid. There's nothing about this team that screams elite, but I just think they're solid overall, and I think Clark Lee is a good coach. There's a reason he's in his 7th season, and there's a reason why Vanderbilt has been very, very competitive the last couple of years. I'm going to have him going 6-6, which is a regression from last year. I'm not putting my full trust in Jared Curtis yet. I would like to see him play a little bit more. I guess play at all because he hasn't played yet. But I find it hard to believe that they regress 5 games in one season with the same coach and a lot of the same returning players. So for that reason, I'm going to have them go 6-6, which is still a major regression, but I just see this as a Jared Curtis developmental year, but not like a full regression into the underline. But interested to hear what you have to say because you sounded pretty surprised that I took the over, but maybe you're in the same boat as me.
I don't think it's that surprising. I mean, their schedule's pretty favorable. This is probably one of the easier schedules in the SEC, to be honest. Outside of Georgia, Alabama, and Ole Miss, it feels like every game's kind of winnable for them. They're out of conferences, NC State. That's not that bad.
No.
I do think, though, Clark Lee's a good coach. I'm going to take the under because, man, Vandy was really, really bad before. I still have questions about their defense. I think this is probably going to be one of the worst defenses in the SEC. They just failed. I mean, outside of even my breakout player is somebody who had limited snaps, wasn't even a full-time starter, and was still just okay, I mean, they just don't really have any elite talent on their defense. Probably projects as one of the worst in the SEC. And then on offense, man, I don't think people realize how much Pavia carried them. Honestly, I mean,
fair.
it's going to be hard for Curtis to match even half of his production. And Cheryl's a good player. Cedric Alexander's a good player. Clark Lee's an amazing coach. But I still think they go 5-7. I think in the second and third year of Jared Curtis, they probably can get back to more of the team they were in the last 2 years. But I just think this first year with a true freshman quarterback, it's going to be hard. I mean, even games like Mississippi State, Florida, Arkansas, where you're playing some teams with some talented players on their front seven, it's just how does that affect Curtis? I just need to see it to believe it, to be honest. And unless I really, really like a true freshman quarterback, I'm just not going to put a lot of faith in them. So I'm going to take the under for Vandy. But that kind of wraps up my opinion on them. But they're definitely enticing to watch because, man, everyone wrote them off for the last 2 years and they still are really, really good. So
for sure,
maybe this is another team that bites me in the ass and actually is good and win 7 or 8 games. So
Yeah.
hard to say, but yeah. That wraps up all the teams. Do
Yeah.
you want to
Yep.
do offensive player, defensive player,
Yep.
and
Yep.
conference
Definitely.
championship?
Defo. I gotta decide what I want.
So yeah, dude. I have everyone picked. You know what? I know. Okay, I'm gonna do something a little bit zany in a sense, but I have all my picks. But you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first because I gotta decide.
So this is obviously an incredibly elite conference. There's talented players. It feels like on literally every single team. Like honest to God, and I mean this when I say this. I think virtually every team in this conference, except maybe like Kentucky I would say Kentucky and Vandy are exempt from this. The offensive player and defensive player could be from any team other than that. Like genuinely, I think every single team has a talented player on offense or defense. Probably not Arkansas for offense, but definitely for defense. Quincy Rhodes could be
definitely for defense. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess Arkansas is probably exempt from this too, but everyone else, man, it feels like has somebody that I would not be surprised. This was a struggle to pick. Defensive player of the year, to be honest. I mean, Colin Simmons, monster.
I mean,
all the elite corners
we talk.
Well, let me get there. All right, all the elite corner. I mean, I could tap into the Bama well. Deontay Pierre, Xavier Brown, Bray Hubbard could easily be this. Kelly Jones is somebody I love. I'm gonna have to take my boy Dylan Stewart.
Yeah,
bro, y'all ain't ready if he has a full healthy year.
I was waiting.
Yeah, I'm telling you, bro. This guy is gonna have. If he's healthy all year, he's gonna be the best player. Like, if a magical genie came down to me and was like, Dylan Stewart's healthy all year, I'm like, bro, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's that simple for me. If he's healthy, he's the best player. He's probably the best player in this conference, offense or defense, maybe even in college football. Honest to God. I mean, obviously the Jeremiah Smith conversation, but that's how good of a player this is. Offensive player of the year, I feel like usually skill position, I'm going to go with Jordan Seaton, man. I don't think he gets the love he should. I know that's not a very popular thing to do, is to take a tackle. I'm struggling to pick a running back or a wide receiver. Like, part of me wants to pick Ryan Williams. I feel like that's kind of unrealistic. There's not a quarterback I'm in love with. I was this close to picking Keelan Russell because he's literally higher than Bryce Young all time as a recruit, and I really believe in him. But I'm not going to pick a true freshman. I'm going to pick someone that's true freshman, but you know what I'm saying, inexperienced. I'm going to pick someone with experience. I mean, Ahmad Hardy, you could pick. Nick Harbor, honestly. I was really close to picking Kewan Lacey, but I just think Jordan Seaton, man, he's going to slate in as a top 5. Yeah. He's 6, 7, 8 completely overall pick next year. And yeah, I'm interested to hear your two, though, because, man, this conference, it feels like there's like 50 guys for each of them. Yeah. Like, honestly.
It's crazy, bro. I don't want to go like basic because like Dylan Stewart, I feel like would be mine like normally, but I think like if I'm picking who I think is actually going to be really, really good and also who I like, I'm going to go DJ Pickett.
I was going to say, are you going to do it? Are you going to do it?
I'm going to go.
Yeah, I like that bet. I love that bet, to be honest.
Dude, his length is insane. He has shown so much in his true freshman year. I just think there's no reason why he can't continue to get better. And if he packs on a little weight, dude, this dude is prototypical size, excellent like build, so smooth. This dude, in my opinion, I just think he's going to be a top 10 pick in the 2028 draft. I'm going to stand on that.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Kind of like the same argument with Dylan Stewart. This is maybe the first time we've seen a guy this big move this well, ever. Has there ever been anyone that has been this lengthy with this? Dude, not only is he fast, but he's silky smooth, too, with his transitions and hip turnings. And it's like, dude, these elite players do things that nobody else can or ever has done. And that's a good argument for him, honestly. He's a specimen.
For sure.
But I'm interested for your offensive players, too.
Offensive player, I almost want to go Mario Craver. Almost.
Dude, but I was close to him, too.
I'm going to go Kewan
He's
Lacey.
good.
I think Kewan Lacey is going to be easily the best running back in the conference over Ahmad Hardy. He's going to be the best running back in the country. I would not be surprised if he goes top 20 in the draft. We had him going top 20 in the draft, I think, for our mock draft. But Kewan Lacey, man, I don't understand how he hasn't honestly gotten more hype. Like, in PFF, he's a second rounder, dude.
Dude, he's really good.
I don't know,
He's really
man.
good. He does everything well.
He's so good, and I just think Ole Miss is going to have to rely on him a lot just because he's going to be a cornerstone of that offense along with Trinidad Chambliss. Their wide receiver room isn't amazing. I just think Kewan Lacey is going to step up into that and embrace, a little bit more of a challenge this year with Ole Miss because last year Ole Miss was like proven to be really, really good. And this year, I think they're going to struggle a little bit more. So I think Keyone Lacey's going to have to step up into that role and be even better. But I do like the Jordan Seaton offensive lineman throw out there for, a little bit of offensive lineman love. Because Jordan Seaton, dude, is going to be crazy.
Big boys.
He's going to be nuts.
But
yeah, I'm going to go DJ Pickett for my defensive, and I'm going to go Keyone Lacey for my offensive. And then SEC championship game predictions. Do you have yours?
Yeah, mine's going to be Georgia versus LSU. I have LSU winning.
Okay.
I just think these are the two best coach teams in the conference with probably the two most talent in total. And I just think LSU gets it done because I like their offensive ceiling a lot more than I like Georgia's. And I think they both have really disgusting defenses. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fighting with myself.
You like Texas more than I did. So I feel like that's a team that probably should be there.
But
Alabama
something's itching in the back of my mind. I'm gonna go LSU for sure. And I'm going to do Alabama. I think it's going to be Alabama versus LSU.
Hey, I like it.
I'm not doing this because you're just an Alabama fan.
No, that's right. Hey, who you got winning though? Who you got winning though? Hey, that's fair. I wouldn't have taken. I didn't take Bama anyways.
But I think if I had to pick my standings for the conference, I would say it would go like Alabama and Texas would be really, really close for me, along with Georgia being in there. But I just think LSU is going to win the conference. Like they just have so much talent. I could see them going 12.
I think we see them eye to eye.
Yeah. It's ridiculous how much talent they have. Lane Kiffin is an amazing coach. So yeah, I'm going to take LSU to win over Alabama in the SEC championship game. Yeah. I think that wraps it up.
Yeah, that's big, super long video for us. That wraps up our essentially college previews in terms of players and teams. This was a ton of work. Like, honestly, hours were put into all this. I mean, all these players, dude, we're talking about hundreds of names that me and Isaac had to memorize. And
just today
hours.
I did hours.
Yeah, hours of video that Isaac has had to edit. So if you guys are like this, I mean, obviously I'm gonna hit you like subscribe, but honestly, the thing that would help me and Isaac the most, just sharing this with somebody. If you like this video and you think somebody likes college football, you like someone that likes NFL, we do NFL content, draft content, just share the channel, man. That is what is gonna help us the most.
Yeah,
is just grow through that. So
we're very grateful for you guys, and
100%.
Leave a comment if you have anything that we missed.
Yeah, give us your takes. We'll cover every single comment we get.
Yeah,
we will.
If you have video ideas, if you have anything, we love the engagement. We love hearing from you guys. So if you have
for sure,
we would greatly appreciate it. But yeah, like Cam said, we put in a lot of work. So I think coming up, we're gonna do NFL division. Is NFL divisions next? Are we gonna do NFL divisions?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how we're gonna do it yet. Or when quite, but we will be previewing, hopefully previewing every NFL team before the season starts.
Yep, I think we should be able to see.
Especially since I get back before just to preface, I don't know if I said this before to you guys, I'm going on a trip to Iceland at the end of August. The NFL season starts I think it's the 7th of September. So I'll have a few days after I get back to do videos and a week and a half till I leave where we can do videos. So we'll hopefully try and cover every team before it starts. I know we talked about the top 100. We can still do that if you guys really want to, but it might be after the season starts. We might release it a week late, which I don't think is the worst thing in the world.
It'll probably be fine, but yeah.
I mean, I've spent so much. I'm just so swamped. I mean, dude, all these teams ranking. I mean, how much teams is this, bro? It's 32 NFL teams. There's 15 teams in each Power 4 conference. So it's almost 100 teams that we just did pretty extensive work on for every single one. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of work, honestly, man. But I love it. I don't know about you. I'm a sicko. I sit down. I love doing this, bro. So
I've actually been loving it. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I would dude, I'm so hyped for the season. Fantasy, everything, college.
Dude, college football starts in a week and a half, bro.
No, I know. And I'm unfortunately going to miss week 0, I think. I'll still keep up with box scores and stuff. No, it's going to be so close and such a good game, right, guys?
Wait till this one Wisconsin wins, bro.
Dude, I'm not even going to lie. They actually could win. It's not that crazy. There's worse upsets. It's actually not that crazy. It's not going to happen, but, if it happened, my jaw wouldn't be on the floor.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's fair. Because Notre Dame loses to fucking North Illinois, bro. Dead ass. Illinois.
Yeah.
They did.
I know they did.
They literally
lost 2 years ago.
Yeah, dude, they always drop random ass games.
They really
do. You never know. You never know.
But yeah,
But
excited for the
yeah,
season.
yeah, me too. But thank you guys for tuning in. It was a blast covering college. Probably the last time
Yes, sir.
we'll cover college during the season, but
Yeah.
tell the draft at least last time we extensively cover it, I would say, at least with the players. But yeah, thank you guys. Like I said, share this,
Really
subscribe,
appreciate it.
like, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys.
Yes, sir. This is the Neutral Zone.